ultimately, I think they're the reason why Xbox ultimately is fucking dying out.
No, I think
because back when Crap Gamer and them was yelling and screaming about they didn't want this shit to happen because they see where it was gonna go, they got ridiculed. But all these new bots that came, they agree with anything. Like they don't even care about the Xbox console anymore. They're hyping up thumb drives and flash drives and Amazon Fire Sticks. Those are not OG Xbox dudes. Those are not the OG Xbox dudes that that I've been watching for the last 10 years or whatever.
Yeah. I think a lot of the new Xbox dudes, they're just chasing clout. Because a lot of them don't even play on the actual console.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Because I see, I listen to snippets of their podcast, right? And when they talk about what they actually play on, they always bring up PC, which is fine. But like, you're playing on a platform that's not your console, yet you're talking about all the console and how great it is, but you're not even playing it. That's not where you play your game. Well, you're playing your games on PC.
99% of those proclaimed PC fanboys, they're just disgruntled Xbox dudes. They got tired of getting poked fun at with Xbox. So they jumped on PC to have cover, and they're still defending Xbox.
Yeah.
Like the real PC guys, they don't care about console at all. They just go and play their Dota 2, their CS:GO, and they don't bug out. They don't care about any of that stuff because it doesn't affect them. They don't go and buy the 4090s because the games that they play don't require any of that stuff.
Yeah.
But it's the console gamers. They'll go and buy a PC. They'll, and they'll go and play these multiplayer, these console ports. That's what I call them. They'll go and play the console ports, and they say, "I got the best version of your game." Ha ha ha. Right? But those aren't real PC guys.
Yeah, I agree. And if you noticed, the movement to PC from console gamers going to PC is primarily the Xbox guys. Most PlayStation gamers, they're enjoying the PlayStation, right? Because the PlayStation's done a great job this year. Of course, you're gonna have those that's gonna criticize things to another level to make it seem like PS5 is the worst PlayStation 5 or PlayStation console ever. That's just more clout, in my opinion. At a certain point, it's like, you just at this point, when you complain about every single thing, you're just trying to get clout energy, and I get it. Get that engagement, try to make your coin, try to make the money. At a certain point, that's when I'm like, this guy's not really genuine. It's just whatever. Now every little thing becomes a problem now, right? Like every little thing, shit, right? Like now, Astrobot controllers are a problem. Like holy shit! So now a custom controller for an actual game that they're releasing. I mean, if you're at that point, well, it's like whatever. Yeah. You
gotta remember. Xbox do, in the Xbox community, it's just always about get back. Y'all all know that. So it's really like they try to equate things that don't equate, but they want to make it equate. So it's like y'all always make fun of us about controllers, but now y'all got 2 controllers coming out, y'all slicing it.
But they're part of games, though. They come with games. You guys, like Xbox dudes, they make controllers just to make a controller. Like, what's the fucking point? Like, excuse my language. What's the point of a Wolverine Deadpool controller with BBL? Like, what's the point? And then it's like limited edition. So what's the? I mean, at least if you're gonna do that, just sell it.
Wild,
like if you're gonna do that, fine, but just sell it. Why make limited edition BBL controllers then? Like, what's the point? Like, what are you trying to do? Like, you're not like, all right, if you're gonna do it, then just release it normal, so that way everybody could buy it and you can make your money. At least you can say, the IP franchise rights or whatever of Wolverine Deadpool is just making us more money. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
But you made a limited edition or some type of special thing where hardly anyone could get it, then what's the point then? Like, what are you? So it's not associated to the game. Like, did you get a Deadpool game at least? Can you do that? Like, you see what I'm saying? That's what Microsoft does. Microsoft makes controllers out of the stupidest shit. SpongeBob,
we know that, but
SpongeBob
it's still
Xbox
just about
console.
get back though. It's still about get back though.
But the get back that makes sense. This is the thing: the Xbox, the Xbox fanboys or enthusiasts, whatever, the smart ones left. Like they already know because there's really nothing to defend Xbox with, right? Or to complain about. The ones who are still trying to save her, they're the ones that look stupid because what are you saving? Like, what are you trying to defend? Microsoft doesn't give a fuck about guys like you. Like those type of fanboys, mate, listen, I'm gonna tell you, you guys still defend the Xbox. Microsoft don't care about you. Microsoft gives two shit about what you do. You could do all the defense you want. They're not changing.
They care enough to they care enough to hold on to point right now until they get with who they want. Once they get who they want, then they'll stop to truly caring.
Get what?
Like when they start trying to get the regular consumer, you know, the whole 3 billion thing, because you know they ain't let go of them dudes just yet. Otherwise, they would have came out and just said third party.
But the thing is that 3 billion includes PlayStation now. So what's the point? Like right now, I had somebody talking on Twitter because of the whole Bungie thing. You know, one of the Xbox fanboys like, oh, so now Sony can't stop any future acquisitions. I'm like, who cares? Who cares about future acquisitions? The game's going to be on PlayStation anyway. Who are you going to acquire that you think you're going to keep the games exclusive? Who? Mm-hmm. So, like, I don't care. Buy everybody. All future acquisitions mean that Microsoft's now responsible to publish games on PlayStation. That's it. Yep. You're acquiring, you know, developers or whatever, and now you're putting up the money to make PlayStation games. So, like who cares about? I mean, when you think about it, what was the whole energy behind ABK? We put energy into that for no reason.
Yep.
Like we think about it. We literally put energy into ABK. Don't get it. Don't get it. In the end, all that shit's coming to PlayStation. Day one. Yep. So nothing changed for the PlayStation fan base. Nothing changed.
Yeah, I got that. I understand. I'm not lost on that. I'm just saying.
I hope I'm not saying I'm going at you. What I'm saying is I understand exactly what you're saying, but what I'm trying to do, you know, I'm talking to the audience, right? So everybody in the chat and everybody that's listening, like, it's true what you're saying. It just doesn't make sense because it doesn't do nothing.
Yeah.
Like, so, like, I'm looking at these Xbox fanboys. What are you guys fighting for now? Like, what are you guys doing? Like, I don't understand what their goal. I don't understand what these Xbox fanboys. I don't know what their goal is now. I don't know. They're not getting exclusives.
Just to try to. I think their goal is try to make money with their Twitter or whatever they can while they can.
Maybe. Yeah. But how about the ones that aren't monetized? Like the ones that aren't, like, all right, the content creators, the guys with podcasts. Okay, the key term is make money. All right, got it. But what about the ones that don't have podcasts and don't want, you know, like shout out to Vicky Bengali. What is Vicky getting out of this? Capping for Xbox. Vicky, what are you getting out of this? Because you're not getting exclusives from Xbox. You know? Hey, listen, my mic is clipping. Unless Vicky just likes to troll ponies, you know, in whatchamacallit. Yep. And that's it. I mean, I guess my mic is gone now.
I can't hear you.
Oh, you sound perfect.
Testing.
I can hear you perfectly fine.
Testing. Hold on.
Can he not hear us?
No, I can hear you. You can't hear me?
I'm about to say, yeah, we can hear you perfect. Well, Jay does say you can hear you fine. I can hear you fine.
Yeah.
All right.
Sometimes it's just somebody in the chat. It's not. You know.
All right. Let me see. Let me just make sure everything's all right. All right. Some people saying voice meter's good. All right.
Yeah, they just said that they was hearing the echo earlier. They can hear all.
Oh no, I hear the echo, but I think it's one of yous. I hear an echo too, but that's not me. I think somebody is letting the sound come out of their system and is going into their mic or reverb back into the mic because I heard my own voice. I hear my own voice sometimes.
Testing. Yeah.
I'm about to say I'm on the PlayStation. I'm trying out the Discord on PlayStation, so I don't know if it's.
Testing. Let me see. Testing. I didn't hear it now, but I heard it in the beginning.
Hello.
I heard my own voice in the beginning through the headset. I just thought somebody had like the podcast like on us. Usually that happens. It's Windows. Why the fuck were you trying to figure it out? It's Windows suck. That's it. Right? That's the answer. Windows is fucking garbage.
Microsoft. Anything
Microsoft. Microsoft is just have this dog shit fucking operating system that's just the most used operating system in the world. That's what it is and shit like that, you know? Oh, you know. Craig, what's going on, my brother?
Hey. How's everybody doing?
Red. What's good, my brother?
What's going on, my brother? How's everything with you?
I'm doing well. This went 5-0 in the college football game, so this beat SMU. So yeah.
That's what's up. Who you playing with, Craig? Who you playing with?
Oh, I'm using Louisville. I didn't know they were in the top 20.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I got my first. I got some 3-star recruits coming in next year. Of course, promising them playing time. I ain't gonna give it to them. Well, I have to give it to the linebacker, but not the running back. So I'm stacked at running back. They actually got a pretty good running back. So,
yeah.
So just playing that. Still playing Detroit Become Human and play that again. So on my third playthrough and Stella Blade. So yeah.
All right. Okay. All right. I think they're saying, Craig, if you could get closer to the mic, or maybe it sounds like you're in the back.
Oh, okay. How about, is this better now?
Maybe it's a little bit better, yeah. All right.
I was about to say, you got a little bit
right
better.
next to it right now.
Yeah, you did get better.
Okay, good.
All right. So, let's get to these topics. Let's start out with the Bungie layoffs. Let me read this for everybody. The new path for Bungie. Pete Parsons. This morning, I'm sharing with all of you some of the most difficult changes we ever had to make as a studio. Due to rising costs of development and industry shifts, as well as enduring economic conditions, it has become clear that we need to make substantial changes to our cost structure and focus development efforts entirely on Destiny and Marathon. That means beginning today, 220 of our roles will be eliminated, representing roughly 17% of our studio's workforce. These actions will affect every level of the company, including most of our executive and senior leader roles. Today is a difficult and painful day, especially for our departing colleagues, all of which have made important and valuable contributions to Bungie. Our goal is to support them with the utmost care and respect. For everyone affected by this job reduction, we will be offering a generous exit package, including severance, bonus, and health coverage. I realize all of this is hard news, especially following the success we have seen with the final shape. But as we've navigated the broader economic realities over the last year, and after exhausting all other mitigation options, this has become a necessary decision to refocus our studio and our business with more realistic goals and viable financials. We are committing to 2 other major changes today that we believe will support our focus, leverage Sony's strength, and create new opportunities for Bungie talent. First, we are deepening our integration with Sony Interactive Entertainment, working to integrate 155 of our roles, roughly 12%, into SIE over the next few quarters. SIE has worked tirelessly with us to identify roles as many of our people as possible, enabling us together to save a great deal of talent that would otherwise have been affected by the reduction in force. Second, we are working with PlayStation Studio leadership to spin out one of our incubation projects, an action game set in a brand new science fantasy universe, to form a new studio within PlayStation Studios to continue its promising development. This will be a time of tremendous change for our studio. Let's unpack how we ended up in this position. It's important to understand how we got here. Let's talk about the first part, right? Let's chop this down, right? So far what I read, they got rid of 220 positions, which is roughly 17%. So you could say the studio was over 1,000 people strong. Some say even
1,300
up to 1,300, right? Which is a lot, right? The crazy part, I ain't gonna say the crazy part, but hearing this and how many people Bungie had, just strictly for Destiny, really 1,300 people primarily for Destiny. This kind of puts the whole Naughty Dog in perspective. Because when you think about it, this is the thing Naughty Dog was saying, that they can't, if they would have went with factions, they would have to dedicate the whole studio to do this, and they wouldn't be able to make games. Now we see what it takes. And Destiny overall, it has its ups and downs, but overall Destiny is a successful game overall, right? Of course, one expansion doesn't do good, another expansion does phenomenal, back and forth, right? Updates, seasons, things like that. But you saw Bungie was using 1,300 personnel to keep that game going, right? Naughty Dog's about the same size, maybe a little bit less, which means that if they would have went the Factions 2 route, they're pretty much doing what Bungie does. All hands on deck to keep this game going. So it's kind of, so I say that kind of puts a little bit of credence to what Naughty Dog was saying, that they didn't want to do that, right? They didn't want to dedicate their people for just this one project. They want to keep doing what they really love doing and what they're great at, which is single player experience. So now I think that puts things in perspective. I mean, 1,300 people for Destiny, that's crazy. But if you look at the most successful live service games, that's what it takes. Fortnite has a shit ton of people. Grand Theft Auto has, I think they even have more. I think Rockstar has like 2,000, 3,000.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Call of Duty, same thing.
Yeah. So you got a lot of people doing this, right? But anyway, so with this, they got rid of 220 roles. It says, including some of their most executive and senior leader roles, and 155 are going to be replaced with PlayStation, right? So now PlayStation has even more executives and senior roles in Bungie, right? I interpret that as Sony taking it over. What do you guys think?
Yeah,
they did. It's. I mean, did you see their press? They released a press statement. I don't know if you saw that.
Herman Holtz being their new head.
But that's what's happened, is that they have been. And again, Herman Holtz said this when he got introduced as a co-CEO, kind of officially. He said that they will continue their integration of Bungie into SIE. But there's an official press release by Bungie today that they have joined Sony, as they've joined SIE. So people got to remember, Bungie was bought, but they were managed under Sony, not Sony Interactive Entertainment. Now, I think the thing that's missing, P-Rock, and at least that I've seen, I want to make this clear, is that what I am seeing is that people don't understand they have dissolved them and they're creating a brand new company. So this brand new company will not be under, as far as I know, nothing's been announced. Are they going to still have the same budgets and to create games for both Sony and Microsoft and PC? Will it just switch and this be a Sony first party too? Because that's what it's becoming. It's becoming a Sony.
No, it's a Sony first party. They said it. They're creating this. They moved some people over to the new team that they created, the new studio that they created, and they're going to work on IP that was dormant that Bungie had, and that's going to be Sony's first party. Well, not dormant. That's a wrong word that I use, but you kind of know what I mean. It's something that they were working on. Something
incubation.
I think Craig was talking about. I think Craig was talking about. I think Craig was talking about the Destiny and Marathon team, though. Not the new team.
I don't think. I think that's staying with Xbox. I don't think they could get around that because that's what they told CMU.
I think that too. Yeah.
No, Marathon and Destiny is going to stay as is. Yeah, but this new stuff. It should anyway. Yeah, but this is what I think, right? And just my opinion. I honestly think that Sony saw when they were buying it, they saw that. And they put it in the words. Hey, if you don't meet your quotas and your benchmarks, we have option to come in and do whatever we need and take over and manage and stuff like that. So today they laid off some management. From what I was saying, it was quite a few managers that they laid executives that they laid off. So somebody's going to run this now. It's, whether the CEO stays or not, I don't know. That's yet to be determined. But somebody's going to have more say so in the way Bungie's being ran. Out of this restructuring, out of all of this stuff, PlayStation gets a new first party, not only IP, but it's a studio that's specifically for that. That's not tied to Marathon and not tied to Destiny with the pre-existing contracts that they had to keep that multiplat. So here's the thing. We do know that Destiny is done as far as like IP. I think from what I understand, a lot of those people that were working on Destiny after this final DLC, final season that came out, whatever, they shifted them over to full blown onto Marathon, and then they're going to just be a Marathon. They're just going to work on Marathon and do that just like they were Destiny. But Destiny was kind of, hey, this is our old game. We're done with that. We moved on. Marathon is what we're going to support going forward. I don't know, man. I just think that Sony put that in that clause for a reason. That maybe Sony knew that, hey, the way these guys are running, these guys probably not going to last for, a couple of years, given the way they are. and Sony saw that we can get a lot of benefit out of that. We can get. They don't want to sell flat out, right? Because Bungie said that they wanted to remain independent. They wouldn't have did a deal if it wasn't independent. But Sony was probably like, all right, well, that's cool and dandy. You can remain independent as long as you're hitting your benchmarks and your quotas. The moment you stop doing that, then we got a problem. Then we need to go in and reevaluate some things. And here we go. Just that reevaluation. They missed, some milestones. And here comes Sony. And Sony, I'm leaving here with something. I'm we didn't spend $3 billion for nothing. We leaving here with something. So PlayStation gained some out of this, and I know it's all Sony owns it all, but it's just some those existing contracts that Sony decided to keep honored and stuff like that. And the same thing with Microsoft, what they did with Call of Duty and stuff like that. But there's nothing in the rules that say, hey, we can't take some of your employees and shift them over to our side and create a new studio and take some IPs that you got over there. There's nothing against those rules. So we'll see. You know what? Maybe in a year's time, maybe in 2 years' time. Bethesda just doesn't cut. I mean, not Bethesda, but Bungie just doesn't cut the mustard anymore. And maybe Sony decides to do more restructuring. Maybe they decide to just take Bungie and just fold them completely inside of the PlayStation thing. Well, what do you guys think about that?
I think so. I don't think. No, I think as long as Bungie exists, they have to abide by the agreement, right? Because that's why there was no issues with CMA, FTC. There was no issue acquiring them. But that was the main catalyst that Bungie still makes games for other platforms indiscriminately. Like there is no like Sony doesn't get a say for exclusives, and Sony agreed to it, right? But I think Sony found the loophole on how to protect their own things. I think what it sounds like, they streamlined Bungie to focus on Destiny and Marathon, right? And it doesn't sound like they're gonna make new IPs. The new IP that they were gonna make, which they were starting in whatever. Sony's like, nah, dog, you're not making this game. We're gonna take your people that know about this game, and we're gonna give them their own studio. We're gonna create a whole new studio, and they're gonna make this game. Now, guess what? That game is not a Bungie game. It's whatever the new studio gets called. That's their game. So now they have no obligation to put that game on Xbox. So I think what I see. So I think what so far it sounds like is they streamlined Bungie to be the studio that can do Destiny and Marathon, and that's it. We're not going to give you 1,300 people to try. No, this is it. But since you already committed to Xbox, that's fine. But we're not gonna keep 1,300 people so you can have the opportunity to make more games for Xbox. Like, get the fuck out of here. That's probably, Sony's like, get out of here. We're not going to have 1,300 people just to keep making more Xbox games. Marathon, we already committed. That was part of the agreement. But the new stuff, nah, we're going to take that. All of you that already know, already worked on the game, already has a solid foundation, come on. You're going to be a whole new studio. And here's the crazy part. I don't think those 75 has any issues. Because the big thing is, why would they complain? Xbox aren't selling. So they're like, and then when you think about it, if you're part of that 75, you are now part of a new studio.
That's a new studio, but that's not a big game, though.
Now you 75 are the heads of this new studio, and you will hire more people. So more people will come to your new studio. You just pretty much you got a promotion. You are now part of the new studio. You got a promotion.
Yeah, that's what I was asking. Was that with them dissolving Bungie?
No, they're not dissolving. Bungie's still around.
Down.
All they did was
downsizing.
Oh no! All they did was one, they downsized it to 850. I think to keep it streamlined, to have enough people to do Destiny and Marathon, so they got enough for that. But because of this new game, they're like, you know what? We're gonna poach.
It's our game.
A few guys, and these guys, they're going to form a new studio. They're going to be the leaders of a new studio. And because it's a new studio, there's no requirement for that game to be put on Xbox. It's a new studio.
That's what I was saying earlier.
But Bungie's not being dissolved.
No, I agree. Yeah. Well, it hasn't been dissolved. I guess it's the wrong word. But if they're going to still maintain the Destiny servers, that is part of their contract.
And Marathon.
Yeah, Marathon. But this new studio, that's what I was asking. If they're not obligated to make, or will they be obligated to make games for everybody, or will
no?
they
It's a new studio.
No, it's a new studio.
New studio.
It's
Okay.
a
that's how they
PlayStation
got
studio.
around that clause.
Biggest, that's how they got around the clause,
Yeah.
right? So at the only scenario is at most PC, PlayStation live service game, which is we already know the strategy. That's it. But as far as making games for Xbox or anybody else, it's their choice.
Yeah, kick rock.
Because this new studio has nothing to do with the acquisition. This is a whole new studio they're forming up, so it has nothing to do with the acquisition, or whatever.
Well, I said that on my podcast earlier. I said there's a very good chance that they will not be obligated to make any new games for Microsoft, and I put that on Twitter. I said the new studio may not be obligated to make games for Microsoft.
They're not. They wouldn't. It's a new studio. Bungie's the only one obligated. So if that's probably why they don't want Bungie to make it. Bungie proper. We'll call them Bungie proper. Bungie proper is not making this game. It's a new studio making it, and it's probably for that reason. Sony doesn't want to invest manpower into making more Xbox games, right? And here's the thing: almost every game that Sony has for Xbox is because of a kind of a forced scenario, right? MLB The Show is because MLB League wanted that to happen, so Sony's like, all right, we got to do what we got to do, right? We don't have a choice. Destiny and Marathon, same scenario. If we want to acquire, if Sony wants to acquire Bungie, you either agree to their terms or you just don't get the studio. They'll say no. All right, so they agreed to their terms and stuff like that, right? Okay, but if you notice with MLB The Show, Destiny, Final Shape, Sony during their quarterly briefings or whatever, they don't talk about Xbox. They don't talk about how well MLB The Show's doing on Xbox. They don't talk about how well, or how many players they got on Xbox. They don't. You don't see any of the execs mention Xbox. They'll talk about PC, but they will not talk about how well this stuff is doing. Think about it. Sony never mentions how well MLB The Show's doing on Xbox. Nothing. Nobody asks. They don't answer no questions. Nothing. They don't even bring it up. It's as if they don't even recognize that their game is on Xbox. But yet on the flip side, Microsoft talks about PlayStation and how well their games do. Microsoft talks about it in their execs. They mention it in their quarterly meetings. They talk about it to their investors. They talk about it publicly. But PlayStation don't. PlayStation has not mentioned anything about how well MLB The Show's doing on Xbox, or how much better, or how much more people are playing, metrics, nothing. They don't mention a damn thing about Xbox when it comes to the games that they make for it. They completely just keep it silent. It's there. They're not gonna try to hype up their investors or try to hype up, to the media on how well their games are doing on Xbox. Nope. They do not try. MLB The Show could be doing fantastic on Xbox. We wouldn't know.
Yeah.
Because they're not saying nothing. Sony's not telling us how well that game is doing. They're zip. So Sony's hardcore on not supporting Xbox. They're not, and now they found a way for this new game to not be on Xbox. Which I would say
regardless of what other folks like to say, Sony still considers them competitors.
Yeah, Sony wants them out. Sony wants that console dead, gone,
or else, right,
to the last drop.
Or if that wasn't the case, right, if the opposite was, they would put the Lego Horizon game on Xbox.
Yeah,
but they didn't. Right. That shows you there. Yeah, we still see you as competition. We don't.
That's kind of crazy.
There's something about that. There's something about that though, because I wonder. Do you remember the wording that Guerrilla Games representatives used when asked about the Xbox version?
Yeah,
they said we have nothing to say about it at this time or right now or something like that. Mm-hmm. They always have very deliberate wording. So I wonder if that wording was intentional to leave for something at a later time.
Maybe, but I think
even though Microsoft doesn't view PlayStation any longer as a competitor, it thinks of them as, because they always say this, we look at them as part of our ecosystem and we're going to support them and X, Y, and Z, and let's be friends. We're going to put all our games on their platform. You got Satya out there bragging about how well Microsoft games are doing on PlayStation platform. Sony is not doing that. They don't, for whatever reason, they're like, nah, we don't care.
They don't talk about it.
It's not gonna happen. Yeah.
So it's just like with the Lego, it's interesting how they put it on Nintendo. It just goes to show who Sony's really focusing on, right? Because when you look at them from a hardware perspective, it's really, I mean, obviously there's PC, but from a first party console creator, Microsoft's the only one that could go after the same games Sony goes after, not Nintendo. Nintendo doesn't have the hardware to go after, like because of their weak hardware, they automatically lock themselves out of a lot of games, right? They can't go after Grand Theft Auto 6. They can't go after it. There's nothing Nintendo could do. Maybe the Switch 2, depending if they're willing to make it robust. But right now, there is nothing Nintendo can do with Grand Theft Auto 6. It just can't run on it.
If GTA 6 isn't going to run on last-gen consoles, it's probably not going to run on a Switch 2.
They're not making it for last-gen consoles. Right?
Yeah, so I seriously doubt. I would be shocked if they made it for Switch 2.
Yeah. So depending on how Switch 2 comes out, right? I don't think Switch 2 is going to be that powerful. I know a lot of people talking about Nvidia and all this shit, and I'm like, Nintendo doesn't give a fuck. I'm like, you guys don't know. Nintendo does not care about trying to cater to power to the third-party industry. Nintendo's the opposite. They're going to make hardware the way they want, and everybody caters to them. And if you don't, then oh well, fine, don't make games for us. Well, okay, most people buy our first-party anyway. We don't really need y'all like that.
Yeah, you know?
They're in a unique position to tell the industry, fuck you. Get out of here. They could give them the middle finger. Like, we are not going to cater to you. You cater to us. Right? Yeah. So that's why I'm like, I don't think Switch 2 is going to be all that powerful. Right? Like PlayStation 4, PlayStation 4 Pro type level. But they're not going to create a PlayStation 5 or a PlayStation 5 Pro level, especially in a mobile device. Are you kidding
it costs
me?
like
they're not selling a $600 device. They're not doing that. They're going to sell a $400 to $350 device, which means it's going to be nominal power. Right? But anyway. But with that, though, the only product that can tap into the market that PlayStation is going for is the Xbox. So Sony's looking at them, even as weak as they are, they're trying to put them out in the back like, oh, yellow. Yeah, they're trying to just get a shotgun.
They got to go for good.
Yeah, they got to go for good, like gone. Like don't ever come back.
I've always said
they not go for good, just go third party like Sega.
Like, you know, this is to Sony. This isn't a boxing match. This is blood sport. You got to die, right? There's no ring out in this match. Like you are dead in the ground, you know. So that shit is crazy.
I mean, I think the upper brass at Microsoft want the same thing.
Microsoft definitely does. Not Xbox, but Microsoft definitely does.
Yeah, Xbox doesn't, but Microsoft does. Microsoft wants to. It seems clear as day. They really want to get that off their back. They're like, man, how can we transition and get rid of this damn console?
Hey, you gotta give it to Phil. Phil's still fighting a good fight, so.
Yeah, I mean, he's fighting a good fight, but you know, I think he's outgunned.
He got at this point. I'm surprised Phil's even bothering because once again, Xbox hardware revenue declined 42%. Like every single quarter. Like at a certain point, they're like, "Why are we even talking about this number anymore?" I'm surprised they're still reporting it. I'm surprised they didn't say, "You know what? Get that shit off the metric. We're not talking about hardware sales no more. We're not doing that because it's always negative. Every damn quarter is just negative. They're like, screw that shit. Just wipe it out.
The interesting thing though is like if they if as much as it sucks on the platform thing, I mean, facing the facts, you know, the platform is more or less done, but they're in a really unique position where if and when they finally do kind of, you know, shrug out of the hardware side of it, they'd be doing better with only having to worry about putting their games on platforms and not having to actually maintain a steadily shrinking for them, user base.
Yeah, I mean, for them, yes, because they can't be they can't be a marketplace provider. They're just not good at it. That's just not their thing, right? So they got to be a software provider, right? If you're in gaming, you're going to be one or two people. A marketplace provider, that can also sell games like Nintendo, PlayStation. You have a first party, but you have a marketplace provider, right? Nintendo's a marketplace provider, but they do a better job selling their own games than third party games, right? So they have a marketplace, they sell a little bit of third party, but their real strength is their first party that sells blockbusters, like egregious numbers, like numbers that are just like Mario Kart's like at 50 million, 60 million. Like their stuff is just out the box. Sony's more like a well-balanced machine. They do generally well for their first party, and they do really, really well for their third party. So they got the best of both worlds. Microsoft, they just outright suck as a marketplace provider. They suck. Their own first party don't even sell in their own marketplace. Third party don't sell in the marketplace. They're having trouble getting subscriptions. So they're like, you know what? As a enclosed marketplace provider, we just need to open up the aperture and just let loose everywhere. And so now you're just a game publisher, and they'll be better at that than a marketplace provider and stuff, right? And I know Satya sees it. The Microsoft people see it, but I would imagine, like what you said, Ramon, some people on Xbox, only because of the pride and the heart and the love for Xbox, they're still fighting the fight, but they don't got the numbers. They're not producing a result, you know? And I know all this talk about the next Xbox. I mean, the fact that you have to talk about the next Xbox right now, when technically Microsoft still hasn't delivered on the full... I mean, you still haven't even got Fable yet. You haven't even got Fable yet, and you're already talking about the next Xbox. And you don't even got Fable yet. Fable was announced, when, 2020?
And they were talking about the next Xbox before Starfield even launched, much less Fable.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying? So there are games that were advertised in 2020 showcase that still hasn't come out. Avowed was 2021. And you're talking about the next generation of console when you haven't even got the games that were talked about in 2020? That console's not. The thing is, who's gonna have faith in that console? Even if you're like a regular Xbox dude, would you really spend $500 on the Xbox given how this generation turned out? You have to ask yourself, it may not be worth the investment. It's like, what is the next Xbox gonna do that didn't happen this gen? Like some type of miracle is gonna happen? There's no miracle in this.
The sad part is if these games that they just showed in their like fantastic showcase, if most, even if not all of them hit, the majority of them hit, it's kind of a shame because that could potentially breathe life back into the platform. But they've already, started to pivot. I mean, it's, so it's going, and then to talk about the next one, which is going to be probably ARM-based tech, like, it really seems like they're just probably going to slide more into a boutique type of platform, because I can't imagine making another big push for, power and yada yada when their user base is steadily shrinking. So it seems like they're going to go ARM-based boutique. Even that, like, how much power is this thing going to have? Because look how expensive the ROG Ally is. Steam Deck is the best balance between the Nintendo Switch and the ROG Ally. So I mean, it's going to be interesting to see where they would fit into that, because handheld doesn't even, aside from the Switch, the ARM, combination handheld and docked machines, they don't sell tons anyway. So it's like I just wonder if this is true. Where are they gonna like slip into that?
You got
let me hit up some super chats real quick. We got the brain, right, fellas? What's going on? Y'all see me next time, no doubt, brother. You know you're always welcome. Jimmy Harrison, my brother, he says, always good to see my brothers on the grill listening to my favorite podcast. What you cooking up on that grill? Can I get an invite? You know what I'm saying? I'll bring my own steak. I just need you to season it up. Cook a medium. You know what I'm saying? Nah, enjoy the grill, bro, brother. Enjoy the summer. Enjoy time with the fam and stuff. Thank you so much, right? Everybody else, man, if you can hit the like button, we truly appreciate it. I just want to make a note. I guess the last few podcasts on the live, I guess like advertisements been getting out of hand. I don't know what YouTube is doing, so I just turned it off. It's just even when I did the conservative option, people were like, man, like commercial, like, advertisements popping up every 3 minutes. So I just turned it off. So you're not going to see any advertisements.
It's bad. It's bad. They'll interrupt live streams now.
Yeah. So, and I don't want to. Yeah. So now that's what was happening. So like, my live streams was having a whole ton of like a F ton of advertisement stuff like that, and it was ruining the experience. So I just completely turned it off because. This, I even picked conservative, meaning barely do it, and it didn't matter. It was still ruining the experience. So I just turned it off, right? So don't worry about it. It pops up in the really chat cool now. There's advertisements in the chat? What? I don't see that. Nah, you gotta be kidding me. That's crazy. But yeah, so I turned it off, so you ain't gotta worry about that. That's ridiculous. That's just insane. Yeah, Google's going off, but I completely turned it off. But if you like the fact that I turned it off, hit the like button. That's all I ask. Hit the like button, right. and obviously, if you can, share this out, to your favorite social media platform and stuff, right? But let me read the next part. Oh, hey, Ramon, hey, you got anything on so far the first part of the Bungie acquisition? So far I touched on pretty much what looks like a hostile takeover, right? They put more of their own leadership in key positions, and now they took some talent, removed it from Bungie, approximately 75, and they're forming a new studio because apparently they had a new project that they're working on. But Sony wants this project to be formed under the new studio. And what it sounds like, if this game is being made under a new studio, then technically it's not a Bungie game, which means technically it doesn't need to go to Xbox. You know what I mean? What do you think about that?
Man, this whole thing is interesting. I mean, all I can do is speculate. But
speculate, yeah.
What goes on in my mind and my imagination is you got Bungie, and they're like, man, we don't know how much farther we can continue going like we're going. Mm-hmm. And then you got Sony watching Bungie. They sitting back in the cut watching Bungie, and they're like, I don't think they're going to be able to keep going much further. Mm-hmm. And we could use someone with multiplayer expertise. They approach Bungie, and they come up with these terms, and they probably see it as a pretty strong bet that Bungie is not going to be able to meet the terms that they signed the contract for. If they are able to meet it, that's fine. That means they have a successful studio. If they're not, that means that they have a lot of seasoned talent and skills at their disposal. On the Bungie side, they're like, all right, look, guys, this contract right here is, it's a strong possibility we'll end up under this contract and getting, losing our autonomy. But on the flip side, we can't go much farther. So let's just throw this last Hail Mary. If we can make it happen, cool, we can maintain our autonomy. If not, then maybe some jobs will be saved. And, obviously it looks like the latter scenario is what happened. I really think what's that dude's name? Pete something or other. I can't remember, but like one of the
Pete Parsons.
Yeah, like Pete Parsons. I am so damn tired of seeing assholes like him like run shit into the ground and everybody else but him pays the price. Like, if there was justice in the world, he would be the first one that would be gone. I'm so tired of seeing people like him get off scot-free. But anyway, that's what I think happened is, both sides took a gamble. Sony, because it wasn't PlayStation, it was Sony. Sony saw it as a much lighter gamble, lower stakes gamble in terms of losing out than Bungie. Because, the worst case scenario, Sony has a good studio under their hands. A better case scenario is if they fail, then they retain a lot of, talent and, yada, yada, yada. So, for those that get to keep their jobs, it, from the outside looking in, it doesn't really seem like a bad scenario. And PlayStation, with Sony spinning them into PlayStation has a history of taking studios and making them better. So, I mean, the odds are in their favor of coming out better than they came in. And as far as the spin-off studio and where they would put the games, it's a spin-off studio. Therefore, unless they have some verbiage in there we don't know about, they're not beholden to those same terms of putting the games everywhere. Therefore, this game, if it's multiplayer, it's highly likely we're going to see it on PlayStation and PC, but not Xbox.
Interesting. Okay.
My main thing is I really hope that all the people that retain their jobs are going to be taken care of, and the people who don't retain their jobs, if they're not high level management, I hope that they bounce back. I really don't care about high level management. Yeah. they're millionaires already. They're gonna be all right.
Yeah, obviously, yeah, true.
They're gonna be all right. They can take some money and wipe their tears away. But
yeah, pretty
I'm more
much, right?
concerned about the people
I'm pretty sure they'll be okay.
Our games.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they'll be okay. Yeah. Let me read the rest of the statement. So, continuing on, it says, let's unpack how we ended up in this position. It is important to understand how we got here. For over 5 years, it has been our goal to ship games in 3 enduring global franchises. To realize that ambition, we set up several incubation projects, each seeded with senior development leaders from our existing teams. We eventually realized that this model stretched our talent too thin too quickly. It also forced our studio support structures to scale to a larger level than we could realistically support, given our 2 primary products in development, Destiny and Marathon. Additionally, in 2023, our rapid expansion ran headlong into a broad economic slowdown, a sharp downturn in the games industry, our quality miss with Destiny 2 Lightfall, and the need to give both the final shape and Marathon the time needed to ensure both projects deliver at the quality our players expect and deserve. We were overly ambitious. Our financial safety margins were subsequently exceeded, and we began running in the red. After this new trajectory became clear, we knew we had to change our course and speed, and we did everything we could to avoid today's outcome. Even with exhaustive efforts undertaken across our leadership and product teams to resolve our financial challenges, these steps were simply not enough. As a result, today we must say goodbye to incredible talent, colleagues, and friends. This will be a challenging time at Bungie, and we'll need to help our team navigate these changes in the weeks and months ahead. This will be a hard week, and we know that our team will need time to process, to ask questions, and to absorb this news. Today and over the next several weeks, we will host team meetings and town halls, team breakout sessions, and private individual sessions to ensure we are keeping our communication open and transparent. Bungie will continue to make great games. We still have over 850 team members building Destiny Marathon, and we will continue to build amazing experiences that exceed our players' expectations. There will be a time to talk about our goals and projects, but today is not that day. Today our focus is on supporting our people. Pete. All right. So it seems like there was a lot of management issues, right? It seems like their strategy to try to develop 3 live service games, I would imagine. All right. Obviously Bungie, Marathon, and then the third one I would imagine is also live service games, and they split, senior developers and senior staff into among 3. I can see how that might be a problem, right? Because if let's say you start out with, you got Destiny, right, and you got the full force packed in, then you're thinking, all right, let's do Marathon. Now you take some seasoned vets and put it on Marathon, right? But now Destiny loses some of that senior, seasoned vets because you're focusing on Marathon. But then you decide to do a third project, so you're like, all right, pull more seasoned vets into this third project. Now, who are you left with, Destiny 2? You lost a lot of seasoned talent that would have normally helped you shape Destiny 2. And now they probably realize, oh, man, we really stretched our capabilities, our knowledge, across all these titles, and that kind of screwed things up, right? And now you got 3 major projects that you have to fund. Lightfall didn't do so great and stuff. And Sony's like, what the fuck is going on here? You like JW said, they're missing the mark, right? What it sounds like now, Sony came in and be like, all right, this is what we're gonna do. You guys, you gotta go. Just like you said, you saw the fine print, you missed your mark. Have a nice day. Here's your severance package. You guys will be okay. Hey, Sony first party, sit in these seats. Now we control the table. They probably control the board of directors now. Remember they talked about they had that little board that voted? Now probably Sony's the majority, right? And as Sony has the majority, Sony's like, yeah, that third game, you guys are not doing it because you don't have the funds to do it. But what we can do as Sony first party is we can create a new studio, and they will have their own dedicated funds that has nothing to do with Bungie. You know, and then on the sneaky side, we got an exclusive. You know, boom, it is what it is. And Bungie could sit there and do nothing. But I would also imagine they're probably not having a heart attack at the thought of not being able to make games for Xbox anymore. Because as we talked about, the console's not really relevant. You know, it's not the 360 days. Hell, it's worse than Xbox One days. So, like, if you're a new studio that spun off of Bungie, and they told you, yeah, you're not making this game on Xbox, are you really going to have a heart attack over it? Or are you going to be like, oh my God, we got so many Xbox gamers playing our game? Yeah, they'd be like, yeah, motherfuckers are playing Game Pass anyway, so whatever. We're good with PC, and I mean, really, we're good with PC and PlayStation. We're fine. And if anything, it makes it easier for them. They don't have to worry about that dog shit Xbox Series S. What do you guys think?
I agree.
I mean, you said it all, really.
No person there with the right mind can dispute that. I mean, it writes itself. I will say this: you don't spend $3 billion and not expect something in return. You expect results, and if your $3 billion is not pulling back those results, you need to make some changes. Sony's a smart company; they're going to do what's good for them. Technically, you know, I know in good faith they say, yeah, you can remain independent, X, Y, and Z. But that has to come with some stipulation. And I saw a bunch of guys running with the whole, well, Bungie spent a billion, Sony spent the extra $1 billion to retain people. But that was to retain people after the acquisition. It's been 3 years since that acquisition has taken place. Like, was this supposed to be forever? Sony can't lay people off, or Bungie can't lay people off from the studio? Like that is just, again, the ass hattery that has come since the console war died a fiery death. Some of these people just they operate on no common sense, and so that's why I just started. I muted. I used my mute button the last couple of months more than any time in history. But yeah, you gotta make the money. You gotta do things. You gotta reach your quotas. You gotta reach your benchmarks, or things need to change. And so out of that, I think Sony made the right decision for them. That's what they felt like the right decision. Now, we'll see what's going to come with the rest of it. Will Marathon, will it make it? We don't know. We're in a weird phase in gaming where, especially with these live service games, where we're at a point where if it only takes one game for a studio to go under and for it to be no more. And I think in the past that wasn't necessarily the case. A lot of studios put out a bunch of garbage and they still had the opportunity to make a bunch of games and keep going. That's why when a bunch of people were complaining about Sony shuttering Japan studio, I look at everything objectively and I say, what did these guys make that hit that benchmark, that set the world on fire, or that made the money? And when you look at those games, no matter how you may personally feel about the game, it's about the collective. A lot of times I like games nobody like, but it's a game that I like. But I understand why they're not going to make a sequel, or I understand why they closed the studio down. It's because it didn't hit that company's their benchmark.
No, Japan studio was straight. They remember they came out and Sony had gave them a chance to make a big game.
That's
and they
what's
didn't want to
crazy.
make the big game. That was the issue. They didn't have a problem with Japan studios. They wanted them to make a bigger, better game, and they was like, nah.
That's what's crazy, right? Because a lot of us thought, Japan Studios wasn't hitting, right? Which a lot of games are saying. And then again, a lot of gamers, they just don't want to admit it. Like, understand the difference between something you like with something that's successful. It's two different things. Oh, Sony used to make all these games. Yeah, they used to make games people didn't buy. Granted, you bought it, just like I bought the Dreamcast. But there's most people didn't. Most people didn't buy the Dreamcast. That's why there's no Dreamcast. Though. No.
There's a difference only because of this is what I'm saying is Japan Studios made a bunch of games that didn't cost much to make. So when they sold 1 million, they were hitting. So yeah, you're right. They're not selling the grandioso Sony's God of War and stuff, but their games would cost like, let's say $50 to $100, like SingStar. SingStar didn't cost them no money to make, and that's a Japan Studios game, and that game always sold somewhere around $1 million to $2 million. So they were always super profitable. They just weren't.
I wouldn't say super profitable. Relevant. And the only reason why, if you notice, Sony's not really down with these small little games no more. Notice they leveled up.
Well, yes, they're not the profitability of 20 million.
Yes, So like they leveled up Housemarque, right? The Helldiver Studios now, bigger budget. I think Sony wants all their studios to go for the home runs. They're tired of the bunts.
Yeah. But that's what the whole industry is going for, though.
Yeah, and that's why Sony with Japan Studio, they're like, you know what? We're not doing this little tiki wiki shit. We're gonna give you the money. You're gonna be Japan Studios, but you're gonna be AAA. Which I wish they would have done that, because that's what we're looking for. We're looking for more Japanese studios to be at that bigger level, right? Like when you think about it, right? Back in the days under PS1, Super Nintendo, PS2, Japan were the big AAA, leaders of the industry, right? The Final Fantasies used to be like the lead game of the industry. Metal Gear was like the lead game of the industry. At one point, Castlevania was the lead games of the industry. Like these games
when Japan was running it.
Yeah, Japan used to run the gaming industries, right? They used to be like their titles was like the top tier AAA, the shoguns of all the gaming, right? It's bad when Final Fantasy isn't looked at as the top tier. Like, it is a top tier game, but not like the way Final Fantasy 7 when it first came out looked at, or when Final Fantasy 10 came out, or when Metal Gear Solid came out. Them games was like, those are the shit people waited for. They set the trend, the graphics, everything. The benchmark was up there, right? So I would imagine Sony wanted that for Japan Studios. Like, yo, you're going to be like the rest. You're going to be like Guerrilla, Santa Monica, Insomniac, Japan Studios. Here you go. Get this check. Make that game. And dude's like, yeah, I'm good. I think I can make great games with $10.
Did say that. Not $10, but he definitely was like, yeah, I don't want to.
Like, I don't need a big budget to make great games. I'm like, all right, got it. You make great games. But the thing is people going to notice? That's the question. Are you happy with 800,000, 1 million sales? Are you really that happy? Maybe he is. Maybe he doesn't like the pressure. Maybe he gets to sleep at night better, right? Maybe he doesn't have to crunch. But would you like your game to be a 10 million seller? Would you like your game to be a 15 million seller, 20 million seller?
Well, from the content creator side, it really isn't quite as a straight line like black and white, because the bigger the budget gets, the more
you have to sell.
Overhead.
That's why I say more profitable.
Well, not only that, there's that too, but the bigger the budgets get, a lot of times the more management you have over your head. And when you have the leaders of these studios that are making smaller experiences, and they have a little bit more leeway to do creative things, and they may not be selling like, say, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 million. It may only be selling between 800,000 to 1 million copies, but they're paying for themselves and they're still bringing in profit, and they can make the kind of games that they want to make. Having to, it doesn't always work with a lot of creators where it's like, no, you're gonna make this, and it's just like, dude, like, that's not what I do. You know what I mean? Like, for a lot of artists, it's just not what they do. Like, it just trips me out when I see how much the gaming industry mirrors the publishing industry. And you took the words out of my mouth, P-Rock, when you said, they're only going for the home runs. In publishing, it was the same thing. Like, the mid-list was what held up a publisher, and then you would have your George R.R. Martins and so forth, like Game of Thrones, for people who don't know his name. And the sales from authors like that helped to finance the up and coming authors and get them through a 3-book deal where the first book might only sell X number of copies, but they nurtured them to the point where by the time they got to book 2 and book 3, they were kicking ass. You know what I mean? And then that's how you build up your portfolio. You have your home run hitters, but the mid list is the meat of it. But now they want everything to swing for the fences. They want nothing but home runs. And just like what you said, P-Rock, it mirrors that, where they're like, you know what? Yeah, this mid list is nice, but we want these home runs, and it's a shame because what it does is it cuts out a lot of the creative experiences that you just can't have in AAA experiences because it's just fiscally irresponsible. As much as people say we need more creativity in these AAA games, it's like, dude, when you got 150 and 250 million dollars on the line, as much as I would like that to be some innovative, groundbreaking, creative experiences, it's just you just can't. Like, that's too much money on the table. You can lose a whole studio or two with a flop like that. You just can't risk it, So it is.
It's just society in general, though, too. It's not just publishing, because the middle class and just society is starting to go the way of the dodo bird as well. So
yep,
it's just pretty much becoming you're either well off or you're poor.
Yeah. So, like, and I get what you're saying, Ramon, right? But I think the consumer in gaming is also, I ain't gonna say it's a problem, right? Because we're gonna buy.
They are absolutely, yeah. It absolutely
but like
is that.
You got these little creative games that hardly anyone buys. So at a certain point, if I was a publisher, right, you got a developer that has great talent, but they want to make these small games. You're like, all right, make small games, and then when they make the game, 800,000 people bought it, and you're like, the fuck, I'm gonna do 800,000 people. Like, how do I report that to a shareholder? We made a game that cost 750. We sold it and made back 2.2 million. We made a those numbers is like, what are we doing?
It's
like,
tiny numbers for sure. It's tiny numbers. Yeah,
like my bonus is more than that. Like, what are we? I would imagine these numbers are too small to have a discussion with. We got to go hard, right? So
you're absolutely right.
And with Sony,
that's the conundrum.
But at least no one could say Sony just straight out shut Japan studios down. It was just simply the head of the studio wasn't with it. So now they're like, all right, we're going this direction, or we're just gonna shut it down, or like absorb it to Team Asobi, who's willing to make AAA games. And the guy goes, yeah, I'm out of here. I'm gonna do my own thing. Like, all right, have the best of luck. But I really wish he would at least give it one. Like, there would be no harm in at least trying once, because it's not his money. Now he has to fight for whatever he could do, and sure, he'll be happy. But just that, what? Let me just give it one shot. Let me try to be a Kojima. Let me try to be a Miyamoto. Let me try to see if I can make that one game that really just blows the industry out there.
Nah, sometimes it's let me give you a place.
Let me give you a little.
Like 50 Cent, get rich or die trying. Fuck that.
Sometimes it's good to know your place.
Fuck that.
Let me give you a little.
I'd rather somebody tell me you are a complete failure, but at least I know I failed, other than to sit around the rest of my life thinking, damn, but maybe I wouldn't have failed. Fuck that. If I'm a
But you're talking about some people know their place. Some people don't want to strive to get to the highest mountain.
It's not even lucky I'm not his best friend. I bet you better get your bitch ass in that studio. But I don't care if you fail.
But yeah, it goes beyond fear of failure. Though. Let me give you an example.
If Sony told me right now make a game, I don't know shit about development, but I'll take it. Fuck it. I don't know a goddamn thing, but I'm gonna figure it out.
Okay, let me give you an example.
I could be the worst deal in the history of gaming game, but I'm gonna take that shot. I'm gonna shoot my shot. I'm gonna shoot that final shot. Kobe could be like, pass me the ball. I'm like, fuck you. I'm taking this shit. This shit's my moment.
Okay, let me give you an example though. Okay. Does everybody here know who Brandon Sanderson is?
No.
Okay.
I'm not gonna know.
But you know who George Martin is, right?
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah, the game.
Okay. Now. Okay.
So
you've
what's
seen
it really called? The Sound of Ice and Fire, or whatever. Or Song of Ice and Fire. That's the actual name of the books.
Yeah. So you've seen how big his books are, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So each one of his books is probably ranging between 300,000 to maybe 500,000 words. We see the delay between his books has gotten wider and wider, right? Mm-hmm. Now the speculation is he doesn't really want to write those books anymore. And here's the thing. I can speak from personal experience. I'm going through it right now. When you start crossing into 200,000 words for books, and I promise I'm gonna bring this back around. I'm just trying to give you guys some, so when you start crossing into 200,000+ words and you're juggling dozens of characters, it's a lot of energy and it's tiring. And you get to a point, and I'm at a point now, like a series that I'm working on, each book is between 200 to 220,000 words, maybe 230. I have scaled it back from an 8-book series down to 5 because I'm fucking tired, dude. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and after this series, I'm sticking in a lane that is between 100 to 150,000 words.
Let me ask you this. If your books, and then, and I wish this for you, knock on wood, from my lips to God's ears, right? What if your books became blockbuster TV show on HBO? you telling me you're gonna stop writing?
No, I'm not saying that at all.
Yeah. HBO like, we like your books. Your shit's gonna go on HBO Max. Keep writing them 200, 300,000 words. I'll be like, I'll write them for you. I'll be there, you tired? Let me know. I'm typing.
But maybe he's already there though.
Maybe he's already. That's what it is. He already has the money. So now
he's already achieved that.
He gets to say.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
that's the thing about rich people. You're like, I'm good. I already got my millions.
But that's the point of being. That's the point of being rich.
I know what you mean.
That's the point of being rich. Is you don't need to grind if you don't want to. He doesn't want that grind, and he can afford to not have that grind. But that's the point of being rich.
You know how I got Ramon to switch up, right? Once I mentioned HBO, he's like, "Well, all right, hold on."
Oh yeah, because I'm still in the grind. I ain't got there yet.
I'm about to grind.
Skippy, if they told me they wanted 500,000 words, I'd be like, "All right,
shit, give me that check. You'll be in the Oscars with Pedro Pascal."
Damn Skippy. Yeah, because I'm still in that grind. So yeah,
you'll get your Emmy sitting right next to you. See right there in front of the cameras. We'll be here talking shit. I'll be talking shit, but like, he's on my podcast. Nah, But I would just wish. But at least he says, you know what? Let me just do one, and then I'll go back to what I love. Let me just give one shot. Let me see if I could just do one big thing. Do it. Put Sony Japan Studios on the map, and be like, I did my job. You guys handle the rest. I'm out. I'm going back to my little foo-foo games. That makes
but just, on others, he might already. I mean, you gotta also remember back in the day, he probably, Japan Studios, like you said, was one of the top peak players in the game. So he was getting those type of budgets back then. It just wasn't what it is now. So he already kind of, showed that he could be successful in that lane. And I was just like, and he a lot older too. You know what I mean? It's the same thing with a lot of these dudes. Is they getting older, you like, man, I'm not trying to do all that. You want more time with your family and stuff like that. Because when you do those big games, like you said, the crunch and all that other stuff, you ain't really gonna have time to spend with your family. Like Ramon was saying that, just got some people in the game that they already proved that they can do it, and they done. And like he was saying, they get tired, and he was saying George R. Martin, but you got somebody even like Oda, who writes One Piece, who's doing it every week. Like, he's still writing a book that he's been writing for 26 years, every single week. Still writing pretty much a book, a manga every week. Like, that's crazy.
How many characters are in those books?
Oh, in One Piece? You talking about over a couple thousand?
How many people, how many characters are in any single One Piece? Are there like 5 characters, 7, 10?
Oh nah, like right now we in Egghead. We probably got like 35 characters going on
in a single book
chapter. And more, because then he started going into the backstories and all that stuff. So
that's a lot. That's a lot of characters for a manga style. And the reason I asked that is because trying to juggle a few dozen characters and a bunch of branching plot lines and everything is exhausting. And I just, I couldn't translate that to games for anybody, but I just imagine handling a AAA game of that scope when you're tired and you're like, man, I just want to do this. Look at Shuhei. Shuhei has been that guy, and he's like, you know what? I want to discover new indies and I want to have fun. And he is living his best life. He's done that. There's a reason why he's not doing it anymore. And I would be shocked if it was because somebody put him out to pasture. Shuhei put himself out to pasture and he's living his best life. You can only maintain that for so long. I mean, some people can do it their whole career. Brandon Sanderson is a machine. Like, eventually you'll know who he is when his stuff gets adapted. He's a machine, but most people, you can only maintain that for so long before you get tired and you just want to scale back the scope to something that's just, more easily managed.
And P-Rock, I understand where you coming from. You coming from a place of
for sure. Same.
You want to get, you know what I'm saying? You on the hungry side of like, I want to get to that high brass place so I can show what I got. But, I'm just saying for these dudes, I think a lot of them, if you in your 60s, going into your 70s, you already did it. Like some of them, so like I said, some people are like, I'm gonna do this till I die and really do it till they die. Ric Flair, everybody know who that is.
Yeah,
he's still he's still out here doing indie shows. Like he's gonna die in the ring. So
until you're gonna body slam somebody until the last, until his heart pops.
Yeah, but some other people, you know what I'm saying? They like, nah, I want to spend time. I missed all the time, with my family and stuff. You could think of it in anything, whether it be any sport, anything. So I understand what you're saying though, Rob, but I just think he was good.
Yeah, he's like, you ain't gonna suck at me in this shit. Nah, I'm good. Shout out to Charles Hawk. He's out there enjoying the summer. He said, spent the afternoon surfing in Oceanside. Now I'm chilling with a vodka soda, enjoying the day off and listening to the podcast. Hell yeah. That's living the life. Enjoy it, man. Good for you, my brother. Good for you. All right. Let's talk about I guess over the last couple of days, now there's like and J-Dub, maybe you could speak on this, right? But I guess now there's like a little movement of denial. So there's PS5 Pro Deniers.
Yep. Shout out to Digital Foundry, man.
My bad, bro. I didn't mean to start laughing like that.
You know
it's saying that it's not real. It's not happening.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
It's bad when Digital Foundry is like, what the fuck is happening? Like they're telling Digital Foundry, nah, PS5 Pro and real. They're the election deniers. What's going on, J-Dub? Those are your peoples.
Hey, listen, man. I don't know what to say, but I will say this. Maybe Xbox is just getting his ass whooped so bad. These guys just hoping and praying that Sony don't put out something until 2026, because in their head they have this belief or this hope that in 2026 Xbox is going to start a new generation and it's going to have a world's most powerful console again and get the jump on PlayStation. Like that's going to change anything. That's what I'm hearing. That's what I've heard from a lot of pro Xbox guys. That's the word that's been passed down from Jez, Gordon or whatever, or Cole Eastwood, a post up. One of them or all of them have this theory. And these guys are not living in reality. The reality is we saw Xbox's numbers, and that shit does not look good. It's looking like they're Satya for the pull the plug any day now. And so they can't fathom not having the world's most powerful console again. They didn't want, even though Phil said that the Xbox Series X is their mid-gen refresh, they didn't want to hear that. They want to hear that Microsoft is outputting something that's going to compete with the PS5 Pro. And so they got the Fire Stick, which is their mid-gen refresh, right?
Come on.
They're getting shit like that, man. They're getting shit like that. And so these guys are just in denial. They live in it's the what do you call it? It's the cognitive dissonance, right? Reality doesn't align with what's in their belief in their heart. They really want Xbox to succeed. They really want it to be PlayStation, but reality is not aligning with that, and so they create this false, this fake reality. This fake their own. They operate in a whole different space. I always say they're the MAGA of console gaming. That's how they're treating this. These guys, like, there's nothing you can say that's going to change their mind. Their minds are already made up. you see MPDs, European numbers every single month showing PlayStation blowing Xbox out the water. Doesn't matter. They'll tell you, no, it's not. No, it's not. I mean, I literally have guys saying, no, it's not. And it's like, okay, well, but more and more of these guys are becoming like that. So that's why it's, And guess what? When the PS5 Pro is announced and when it does release, these guys will find some kind of way to rail against it, to be upset, to shit on it and everything else, right? That's just the group that we have now. That's why I say these are the guys that jumped on the bandwagon of like the Titanic while it was sinking. These weren't the OG guys that got on the boat from the beginning. These are like the stragglers. These are just the guys that need a quick buck. But unfortunately, it's a lot of them, and then they all have that same monolithic thinking, and so it's like one person says something, and all of them repeat it.
All right. Okay. All right.
It was funny. I was one of the. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just real quick. I just think some of these Xbox dudes, you know how like when you got a winning team, and I'm known to do this. I don't like New England for this reason. You get a winning team that's just really great. You just want to hate on them just because they winning. You know what I'm saying? I think a lot of the new Xbox fans or supposed Xbox fans are just that. They don't really got an issue with Sony, but it's just like, but Sony keep winning, and the PlayStation fans have been doing a winning dance for almost 13 years now. So somebody just wants to bring him down a notch, and so it's like we're gonna fight the good fight just to try to bring him down a notch, but when it's going, so
yeah.
I was thinking about what J-Dub said about the guys that weren't the OGs, that were the newcomers. I was one of those. Well, not content creation because I just never. But I was one of the newcomers to Xbox, and I said, you know what, I'm gonna give him a shot. Secondary console because come on now. But I put a foot in the boat, and the boat rocked a little bit too much, and I took my foot out of that boat and put it in a different direction. And my Series X happily financed my GPU in my PC. But it's crazy that their messaging was so strong starting off. And, I bought into it for the first time ever. I bought into it. And then, I don't know, it's just... everything just started falling apart. Either everything just started falling apart, or it was.
You didn't see the Microsoft played it too close to the chest, and nobody realized it was a facade.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. You literally took the word out of my mouth. It was like it's almost like you're on that the movie set, and then the buildings look real, but then when you peek around the corner, it's just these stilts holding up the.
It's a flat. Like, what the hell? I thought it was real. And I thought wrestling was real.
And I don't mean, you know what? And I'm joking here. Folks who know me know I don't I don't genuinely take shots at Xbox because I really did want them to succeed because of Sony on their heels is the best PlayStation. A PlayStation on their heels is the best PlayStation we could get. But unfortunately, we didn't. It's not playing out that way. But
I mean, is that true though? People keep saying that, and I'm confused why y'all say that.
Okay, I'll give you an example. The PS3 was simultaneously their worst and best generation. It came out of the gate horribly. I mean, overpriced console, like late. So much bad PR. Late to the gen on top of that. And what they did was oh my God, the hack. And then the online wasn't good either. It was like terrible compared to Xbox. And then they rallied. They got all hands on deck. We got 4 games in one gen from Naughty Dog. We got 1, 2. Insomniac gave us 2, 3, 4, 5 games. I think in one gen. 5 games in one gen. Sucker Punch gave us 1. How many games did Sucker Punch give us? Sucker Punch gave us I want because Sly 4, 2, but 3. What else?
Sly 4 and Infamous
3. It was 2
and 2.
Infamous.
And Infamous 1 and 2. Yeah, so Sucker Punch gave us those 3 games. And then Sony Santa Monica gave us 1 think God of War was probably it. God of War 3. Oh, and Ascension, which a lot of people dump on it. I liked Ascension. It was just the weakest of the bunch. But, Sony Santa Monica gave us 2 games. Like, their tentpole studios gave us a ton of games in one gen. So it's an example of Sony got smacked down and they got humbled. And then they got up, they shook their head, and they got all hands on deck, and they sprinted across the finish line and outsold their competitor. But they were on their heels for the whole gen. They spent the whole gen catching up.
That's the
kind of hustle you want.
That doesn't really hold weight because from PlayStation 1 to 2, they were always at the top of their game, right? And then PlayStation 3 is where they got a little too big for their britches, and Xbox was able to humble them, yes. But Sony has never at any time not really put their best foot forward. Now, they can get greedy. If you want to say they keep Sony from going full on like evil tyrant greedy, yeah, sure. But as far as like making games or having putting their best foot forward with their first party studios, you could say, okay, yeah, they may have produced the most amount of games from their first party studios out of necessity, but they've always produced a lot of games, whether it was God of War, Twisted Metal, Jumpin' Jack Flash, Wild Arms, Legend of Gaia, or if you go to PlayStation 4, that's when they had their first party had entered the stratosphere of Nintendo, because before that, they were entering the stratosphere of Nintendo, even with like Uncharted 1 or 2. Like
then you brought up PlayStation 1 and 2, but they didn't have a lot of first party in PlayStation 1 and 2. They had almost no first party.
They did have first party.
I mean,
they didn't have as many studios, but they still, you know what I'm saying? Siphon Filter was from a first party. Jumpin' Jack Flash is from first party. Wild Arms, Legend of Gaia, that's from Japan Studios. Hot Shots Golf. I can name a ton of games from their first party from PlayStation 1 and 2 from their direct first party. And I can go on and on if you would like me. They had a ton of games from their first parties on their things, and they did about the same as the ones they did on PlayStation 3 as far as how sales go. PlayStation 4 was where they finally entered the Nintendo stratosphere of 10 to 20 million, and it wasn't Gran Turismo. Because Gran Turismo was really their only like double-digit big hitter game. Even God of War and Twisted Metal didn't really hit double digits. They were always like 5, 6 million. So I'm not really understanding when people say, oh, Xbox kept them on their heels. Xbox has never really, besides that one time where Sony stuck their own foot in their mouth, kept Sony from doing anything besides being egregious with their prices. Sony has always been productive with their first party. SingStar, I'm telling you, like they have their first party. Go look up PlayStation. Like I don't know, I'm pretty sure somebody has done it somewhere on YouTube. PlayStation's not published first party games from 1 and 2. I just know the games I know. I know Legend of Gaia and Wild Arms because like 2 of my favorite RPGs. I know SingStar because I've always played those with my family. Something my grandmother would play from PlayStation 1. Hot Shots Golf. Granted, that's a Japan Studios and another studio. I think it's Clapham, but still Japan Studios. And so forth and so on. They've always made, like I said, Jumpin' Jack Flash was one of the first 3D games, and then Mario 64 came out and made it look stupid. So, but yeah, Sony has always produced at a high level when it comes to creativity in the entertainment space. They've never competed against anybody in the gaming space because they never had any true competition. Nintendo has never really sold as many consoles, or they sell their games. We all know why, because when you buy Nintendo, you're buying it for Mario and stuff. So cool, but Nintendo just got back on its P's and Q's with the Wii. Then they fell off with the Wii U. Then they got back with the Switch and handhelds. Xbox has never really competed besides 360. Xbox One wasn't really, as prevalent. Sony has pretty much really dominated as far as their first party, or been productive. I won't say dominated. I'll say been productive with their first party from 1 all the way up to 5. And I think with this, like Porter Rock was saying, I think they were waiting for the PlayStation Pro, but I also think that came from the fact that they leveraged some PlayStation 4 games and pushed them to be cross-gen. I think the cross-gen thing was out of necessity because of COVID, and Sony came out on the better side of it being, a little bit more proactive with what they had because they had games in the pipeline what Xbox didn't have a chance to because they didn't have their games ready yet. And now Sony is starting to feel the effects. So now they're just like, well, let's just wait for the Pro. That's what I truly feel is going on this generation. And they're just going back to the PlayStation 1 and 2 when their first parties aren't ready. We have a bunch of exclusive games. So that's just my opinion, though.
That's actually also a really good perspective.
Yeah. I think also in your last part, because when you think about PS5 is the first console that's the follow-on to the decision of x86, right? PlayStation 4 was the first, it's not the first in the industry. I mean, you got Xbox, whatever, but it's Sony's decision to now go with x86, right? And now they created PlayStation 5, which is also x86. So now you have two consoles that are x86 x86 platforms, and publishers like, we could easily make cross-gen games because why not? And I think that's also a big factor because when previously they were power PC architecture, right? And for backwards compatibility, that was a pain in the ass. Like, for example, PlayStation 3. PlayStation 3 was fully, when it launched, the PlayStation 3 Fat, it was backwards compatible because they put the PlayStation 2 in it. They put PlayStation 2 hardware in the thing. That's why it was backwards compatible. It wasn't backwards compatible.
That's also why it cost so much.
Yeah, but it wasn't backwards compatible because the cell processor and the GPU was. No, it's because they literally had a PS2 built into it. So PowerPC was a little bit of a pain in the ass for backwards compatibility. So that's why exclusive was kind of almost like you kind of had to do it because it was a pain in the ass for backwards compatibility, right? But from a PS4 to PS5, it's not a pain in the ass. It's actually real easy. So I think developers industry took advantage of that, especially with their thirst. Because again, you saw, what is it? An article talking about Grand Theft Auto 6. Half the fan base is still on PS4. You're not going to sell 100 million consoles in 3 years. You're not going to completely transition the entire 7, 8, 9 years of sales. And then when the next generation starts, everybody buys a console within the first 2 years. And now obviously it's going to be a slow build up to 100 million year after year after year after year, right? But in this case, while that slow build up is happening during the first 2-3 years, the game could be easily, it's an easy cross-gen. It's probably the easiest cross-gen they ever done in console history just by going x86. So I could see, so all those gamers that are saying, man, there's a lot of cross-gen games as compared to normal. It's because it's easier for developers. This is the first time they go from x86 to x86 versus PowerPC to PowerPC, Especially, when people try to compare, but PS4 got more exclusives. You didn't have a lot of cross-gen. That's because they didn't have a choice. The PS3 architecture was completely different. We still can't even play those games backwards compatible on the PS5. To this day, you still can't do it. So it wasn't because it was the choice was there. It's because Sony couldn't do it, so they had no choice but to make games that are in cross-gen. They had to completely move on from PS3 because of the cell processor. They just had to move on. It wasn't a choice. But I guarantee if they could have easily done cross-gen, they would have. They would have easily done cross-gen, to take advantage, at least for the first year or two, that fan base that they built up. And that's
I definitely agree with that, but I definitely think that is absolutely a piece of the puzzle. I also think that it happened to work out perfectly as well because of COVID happening. Yeah. So it's like not only were we already going to do it, I don't think it would have been. I definitely think they would have did the cross-gen for sure. I don't think they would have did it as long. I'm 100% sure they would have cut it short with 2 years and started going into the heavy, we're only here for PlayStation 5 and trying to get you guys over as possible because they're doing it now. You know what I mean? They're trying to do it now. That's when we had the back and forth about the Lego Horizon. And I was like, I think they're just trying to put it on the Switch to garner that money that they would get from the PlayStation 4, but move everybody over. And you were like, nah, because that game's not going to move anybody over. And I'm like, I don't think they care. I think they're just trying to from here on out, everything, that you would want to play is going to be on the PlayStation 5, period. That it doesn't matter if it's an irrelevant game or a popular game. But I definitely think the reason Sony has been quiet, as me and E was saying, they're definitely keeping things close to their base. Like they just showed Astrobot coming out, Concord is coming out. I think they made a few mistakes with Wolverine, and I don't remember what was that Capcom game, the space one, the girl and the cat. There's a couple games they made a few mistakes with, like Little Devil Inside. I've been waiting for forever. You've been waiting for Lost.
Oh man, yeah.
You've been waiting
Lost
for
Lost Soul.
Lost Soul. No, you've been Lost Soul.
We finally got more on that one. God,
they made a few mistakes, you know what I'm saying, with some of them, but I think they're trying to drop a lot of their games saying, hey, with the next couple months, you will actually be able to play it, not only as some kind of beta or demo, but also the actual game, as well as COVID, you know, for their big new games. I think it slowed that, you know, for their like newer games that we have no they're working on. I think COVID definitely did hit them, as well as, like I said, it did Microsoft. I know we make fun of the bots for saying, you know, COVID, and Xbox for saying COVID, but I do think a lot of their games were in because they showed their games before they even started production, you know, and them trying to work around COVID. I think that did affect Microsoft's ability to be able to get these games out faster as well.
You know, the interesting thing is a lot of people are, you know, down on Sony saying, you know, it's dry right now. Where are the games? Blah, blah, blah. Sony did something that I don't recall them ever doing, and that's launch with a bunch of games. And then now we're in a lull in the middle. But if you look at the PS4 gen, it finished out that gen started dry, and then it came in anchor towards the end. Like, you know, obviously I'm not on the inside, I don't know anything, but I would be highly surprised if these next few years the games don't start rolling out again. Like, I mean, you know, people keep blasting them for this, but it's like they started the gen off amazing, and then filling in the gaps as they've always done. They filled in the first party gaps with second party deals, third party deals, and first party games that they published through a third party studio. Like, they're filling in the gaps. They're still giving reasons to play on a PlayStation. Like, you know, this stuff takes time, and how much better could they plan? They literally gave us a bunch of first party in the beginning. They're filling in the middle with exclusive content, and then come the end of the gen, I believe personally that they're gonna come strong again. Like, that's just, in my eyes, that's really good planning. I can't imagine how much better they could have planned that.
Yeah, I think
they don't have like 100 studios.
And Jay does it too. I think 2025 and beyond, their projects will finally come into fruition and release. So beginning of the gen, lots of games. You got that little lull, that space of development, but they're filling it with a lot of good content, a lot of third-party content. Some people just don't care because it's not specifically first-party, but the games are great. Like this year alone, I already beat Grand Blue Fantasy, right? I'm playing Rise of Ronin right now. That's
literally in the prologue to that one, or the epilogue.
I'm going to go into, you know, Final Fantasy 16 DLC and then jump to Final Fantasy 16. A lot of people are playing Helldivers. Concord's about to come out. I don't know about that 5 million prediction, bro.
5 million, I'm standing on it. Hey, in December, hey, y'all can come yell at me in December. Come yell at me in December.
I'm not even gonna do nothing. I'm just saying.
I'm talking about the chat and everybody else come yell at me in December.
Yeah, my man said 5 million in 3 months.
They stick with it.
I'm holding weight to it.
Oh, in 3 months? Oh yeah, that's gonna be kind of rough, man.
Yeah,
I was getting ready to say if they stick with it and keep,
maybe in 3 years.
I think y'all are confusing. I think everybody's confusing like Twitter, because there's a bunch of people that like big YouTube channels and Twitter people that love the game, and there's a bunch of people that don't. It's been a mixed bag. It's right down the middle. So I think everybody's thinking that this game is dead, and it's not.
Yeah, like 2,000 people.
I played like 6 hours of it. I'm sure that's irrelevant.
I'm sure. No, but it is relevant, because if you can't get 2,000 people, if you can't get 100,000 people just to play the game in the beta, you're gonna expect them to pay $40. You're gonna expect 5 million to pay $40.
Okay, you're talking about Steam, but we don't know what the PlayStation numbers were. I played the game for 6 hours, and J-Dub could probably also tell you you could get in a game like it was nobody's business. But the game. But it doesn't have to be.
If anything, it's going to be harder for PlayStation, because you don't got the full PS5 audience to buy this game. What you got is PS5 gamers who have subscription to buy this game. Yeah, remember that. You don't have all 60. What's PlayStation 5 at? 50 million, 60 million, whatever the number is.
60 plus
65.
now, yeah.
60, 65, 65 million? Really? 55?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
65.
65.
So,
So,
60,
yeah, okay.
60
So you got 65 million, whatever the number is. They all don't have online. So the audience for any online multiplayer that's not free to play is whatever who subscribed out of the 65 million. So that's your audience. That's who's going to buy the game.
Yeah.
The people who are buying it. So it's a lot smaller number. And usually, at best, is 50%. So you got 30 million.
I didn't say it was going to be Fortnite numbers. I said 5 million.
No. But I don't think you're going to get 5 million. You could barely get the people to play on PC, and there is no barrier.
I could be wrong.
And it's
I could be wrong.
No, but listen.
But I'm standing on it.
Yeah,
Trust me.
But
trust me.
I know, but look at the odds. You got a much bigger audience on PC with zero barrier to play this game, and I think at the height was 2,900. There's people who don't even give a shit to even just try the game just to see what it is. Let alone they're gonna pay $40 to actually play it.
There's two reasons for that, in my opinion, when it comes to PC. One, the PC crowd plays those type of games quite often, and most of the PC crowd was going, "Oh, this is an Overwatch clone, or this is a Valorant clone," and a lot of people weren't even looking to give it a chance. And the second thing is, I don't think Sony has marketed this game honestly that well to the PC market, or anybody for that matter. I don't think because they've been going crazy with Astrobot, and you barely hear them. Concord, the studio Firewalk's been doing it themselves. So I don't think a lot of people. I think a lot of people don't even, know about the game. But I think they'll be fine. And like I said, I could be wrong. I'm not really tripping if it doesn't or not.
I would say adjust fire.
Oh no, I'm not adjust.
Listen, man. If you're on the range and you got your 3 shots and don't hit on target, you got to adjust your sights.
Yeah, adjust your sights. Yeah,
don't shoot again.
You're a Marine. I'm Army. But the point is, I'm not adjusting because this is irrelevant. This is not a life or death situation.
Look at the wind. You see the wind. Make your adjustments, dog. You're not hitting the black. Make them adjustments because I don't think that game's doing 5 million 3 months, bro.
It's going to do 5 million.
Not even close.
Standing on it. No back down. Not one bit. Not one iota.
How about this? Change the months to years. Then yeah. 3 years, 5 million, 3 years. You'll probably be there.
I like a person that stands on his.
Hey, I give you heart. My man's 10 toe down. I'm holding the line. But boy,
it's not that. It's just because I didn't buy into all the propaganda of, oh my God, this game is dead. Like, I'm just looking at it and going, nah. I see a lot of people. I see just as many people that don't like it as there's just as many people that do like it. And the one thing that everybody has said, whether you like it or don't like it, is the game is solid. It just everybody's just going it's not doing anything that is standing out. So with a basis, when you have a solid basis, and Sony does not give up on their games, like Destruction All Stars is still around. Like they didn't kill the servers like the games that got their servers killed, which is a little superhero thing and the dodgeball one. Those are dead because the servers are dead, right? No, they still have the Destruction All Stars. You can go and try to play it right now, and you can get into some matches. So with this, they have an actual solid foundation. They have a good amount of people that like it. The people that don't like it, but they can always come back if they build on that foundation and give them a reason to. Within 3 months, I think they can do that. But that's just me. I could be wrong. Again, I don't care if I'm wrong because there's no money on the line. I'm not like about to lose nothing. Now, if we were betting like $200-$300, then maybe I would adjust the months.
Maybe
no. I said the months.
That bet. You
no. I would adjust them. I would adjust the months, not the amount. I would adjust the months.
To like,
but I wouldn't. But
to like
72 because there's nothing on the line besides like, people,
adjusted
crying
to 60
about
months.
That was wrong.
Adjusted to 60 months.
I would adjust.
But it's true. But here's the thing: you could, and I think Extreme I talked about this, right? You could let's say could launch bad, and I think Extreme mentioned it, and if he wants to say it again, but he did mention that this will be a true test of Sony's conviction on multiplayer. Are they going to be more like, who's the one that made Anthem? Fucking Ubisoft. What's the name? Not Ubisoft. Anthem.
EA.
EA, right? And what's the development studio? BioWare. Are they gonna be like EA and BioWare, Anthem, and just drop it, or are they gonna be more like No Man's Sky or Rainbow Six Siege and stick with your guns, and then all of a sudden, a few years later, look where you're at now? So I kind of like Extreme. This is gonna test Sony's conviction.
They've already proven that they don't drop their. They don't. They don't just drop. They've had multiplayer games before. They don't just drop their games. You can go from Uncharted multiplayer to Last of Us. Some things are still going to this day. I mean, they had Home, and if anybody remember
smaller
Home,
titles. Those are.
It doesn't matter.
It does. Look, because if it didn't matter, then they would have kept Factions too.
No, it doesn't matter.
Live service is a whole different paradigm.
No, Factions 2 was a totally different. Factions 2 is a totally different situation because Naughty Dog was like, "Yo, we will get the fudge out of Dodge if we have to do this." So they had to make a decision on like, do we want to lose one of our best studio, if not the best studio we have?
That's the point. It's not regular Factions. The paradigm of live service games is a completely different paradigm. Sure, it's multiplayer in the sense that you have a community playing, but it's so much bigger in scope and dedication to get it done as compared to the traditional old school multiplayer, which is like a few servers, queue stuff. Sure, you can still have.
That's why I brought up Factions, Destruction All Stars.
Yeah, Destruction All Stars.
Yeah,
that's it.
Isn't from them.
I know, but
Destruction All Stars isn't a first party. Let's put it this way: Sony so far hasn't had a live service that failed. Yeah. So we have to see it, because whether you're talking about MLB, you're talking about Gran Turismo, you're talking about
successful.
Helldivers, all of those are successful in their own way. Like, yeah, they are not going to be all Helldivers, but they are all successful for those audiences and they serve those audiences. And you can see the updates coming out for Gran Turismo, for example. So
a lot.
That's fine.
Okay, so everybody golf doesn't count?
Everybody's golf's on live service.
What? Yes, it is.
How is it?
Go on there right now. It has tons of microtrans. Yes, I play everybody's golf to this day. It is a microtransaction, and you play it against a bunch of people online. It is a online microtransaction based game.
Uncharted 3 had microtransactions, and nobody ever called that a live service game. Uncharted 4 had microtransactions. No one ever called that a live service game.
I'm saying, okay, listen to what I'm saying.
I know what you're saying, but what I'm trying to remind you, simply having microtransactions doesn't mean you're a live service game. Uncharted 4 had microtransactions. It factually did. So did Uncharted 3. They had microtransactions. Those were not considered live service games.
Yeah, so did Factions.
They're not. Simply having microtransactions doesn't really make you, saying a live service game. A live service game,
that's
right?
Exactly what a live service game is.
No, it's not. A live service game, like, for example, if Hot Shot Golf was a live service game, you ain't getting another Hot Shot Golf. They're not making no more. That's it. That's it. That's perpetual. Guaranteed, don't make a new Hot Shot Golf over and over and over.
Madden's a live service game, and it makes it every year. Call of Duty. I can name you a ton of games that are live service. NBA 2K is an absolute live service game, and they make that every year. What are you talking about?
True. That's true. But they also have Warzone, which is a true live service game. I'm just saying.
I get what you're saying. You're talking about the bigger. You're talking about the forever game. I got that. That's the difference between live service and forever. Forever games are Fortnite, Warzone.
So let me ask you this:
things like that.
Was Uncharted 3 a live service game then?
Yeah, live service things. So yes, if it had the multiplayer and the microtransactions.
Then how come no one ever called it that? How come that's in fact? Was Factions 1 a live service game?
Hold on, I'll prove my point right now. When Sony said they were moving into a live service game, they said that every game that was live service wasn't going to be a forever game. Okay. They said that themselves. They said that live service could be something that just has microtransactions or DLC. That's what Sony considers live service from their own mouths.
I mean, okay, if they're trying to redefine that stuff, is whatever. But Hot Shot Golf to me is more in line with the traditional multiplayers we're used to. Because if that's the case, then hell, Halo 2 and Halo 3 is a live service game. Technically. Gears of War.
Yeah, I've always considered those.
Yeah, but
I don't consider those games as a service. Hold on, there's a difference between gas and live service. I don't consider those like games as a service. Games where that's the main purpose of the game, where it's like a forever game where you're just getting content updates. Because what I consider live service is the same thing Sony considers. Is if you have a game that gets updates, microtransactions, DLC, your game is a live service game because it's a continuation. Like, it's not going to die when you beat the story. It's not like God of War Ragnarok. And then even Ragnarok, you consider because it had a DLC, but it's not like
it's just another way of saying multiplayer. So let me put it this way: is Concord a games as a service?
Yes.
Okay, then. So then we'll use that term.
Yeah,
that's the term we'll use, because to me you're just replacing live service game with the word multiplayer. That's all you're really doing. You just switch. You just re-saying multiplayer. I think now
it doesn't have to be multiplayer.
Okay. Well,
like say Cyberpunk, right? If Cyberpunk got another update, like another DLC, like big expansion, and then or like how Baldur's Gate would get another expansion, to me it is still the same thing.
Like
you don't have to play multiplayer on there.
Like Witcher?
Like Witcher, yes.
Okay,
I think we're being too broad. I think we're being too broad with the term live service now.
Because I think
maybe
if you're just going to say, as soon as it gets an update, it's a live service. That's
what I'm saying.
That's too general and nebulous to be useful.
Is Stellar Blade live service?
Yeah, they're getting massive amounts of updates. Yes.
So that's live service too. Nah, that's generic. Now we can be.
Listen to what I'm saying. You don't have to agree. Listen to what I'm saying. What I mean, what I'm saying is, okay, if you play, let's say something like the original God of War, right? It's just that game, correct?
Yeah.
Right now, you play, let's say, a new God of War, like the next God of War, and it has several DLCs, like Spider-Man did. It had like 4 or 5 DLC packs. Your game isn't a stagnant game. It is a service-based game because it's now giving you still more to go to.
I don't agree with that.
I don't consider that.
I think live service.
Argue with Sony.
Listen, it's fine, but at no point did any of us ever say the term that Spider-Man 2018 was a live service game. I guarantee no one said that. Not one podcast, not one conversation. No one even attempted to even say. Witcher was never looked at as a live service game. Spider-Man. Hell, technically on Infamous, when it got the DLC on the PlayStation 3, no one even used the term live service game.
They just said DLC.
No one. Yeah, I think right now
I'm agreeing with you. They just said DLC.
Yeah, if we now watered down live service game to just any game getting update, then it's a useless term. Because then anything could be a live service update, which then you can't strategize around that. You just pick any game, you bring an update. Oh, it's a live service game now. I think that defeats the meaning behind live service game and intentions behind it. That's way too generic. That's just way too broad. Like literally, you could take any game and you add one thing up. It's a live service game. You're like, what? Like that?
Well, they just
now everything is a live service game. Then what game is it?
But I think everything is a live service game.
Yeah.
I think everything is a live service game. Like they don't have a game that's just a game anymore. Like name me a bunch of games that you just play and that's it. Like Kenna is like maybe one of those. Like a lot of indie games are just regular, but most big games are live service games to me. They don't have an end. They all gonna have some kind of update, some kind of DLC, microtransactions, or something that serves. Now, what you're talking about, to get back to the point though, is games as a service, like something that's gonna go on forever.
Yeah, and that's what Concord is. So I think that's live service games and game as a service. I think those two terms are being used interchangeably. I think it's what it is. Some people say live service games, some say games as a service, but I think the two terms are being used interchangeably, which makes more sense, right? So when we refer to, that's why some people say Sony shouldn't have done Factions 2, they should have just delivered Factions 1s, because they're two distinct strategies. The traditional multiplayer, release it, we'll play a few rounds, got it, right? So what Extreme and I are talking about is Concord as games as a service, right? We'll use that term so that way we're not, being ambiguous. That right there, Sony does not have a game as a service that failed yet so far, right?
Yep.
You can say Gran Turismo 7 is a games as a service. Constant updates, constant new tracks, constant new boards. It's long running and stuff like that, right? Now what we're talking about is Concord could potentially be their first failure as a games as a service. Now we're going to see how they react. Do they stick to their guns, keep providing update, and maybe end up like, Warframe, Rainbow Six Siege, No Man's Sky? Or do they take the EA route and just be like, nah, fuck that, we shutting this shit down, start over, do another game? We don't know. But this game could potentially be that test of how dedicated Sony is to these type of games, and that's what's going to be interesting to see. Are they going to stick to their guns, keep pushing the content update, keep pushing through it, you know, and maybe start out like a No Man's Sky, but end up to what No Man's Sky is today? Or do they go the Anthem route and say, yeah, we can't save this shit, shut this shit down, start over, come up with a new IP? This is going to be Sony's.
I just want to say that
test.
Some people in the chat are confused because whether you take a look at Godfall, you take a look at Babylon's Fall, you take a look at Firm Stars or Destruction All Stars, all of those games were not directly from Sony. This is something that I want to see directly from their own studios, where we know that Sony, hey, you made all the decisions all of the way through under your leadership. Because with the other ones, you can always say like, oh yeah, you know, they gave it to the studio, they greenlit an idea, and then they brought it in, but they were not making decisions at every step of the way under their supervision. So again, Foam Stars is Square Enix. I don't know why people like they
keep bringing Foam Stars. That's Square Enix.
Exactly.
Fuck that up.
Like, that's nothing to do with Sony. It's like Babylon's Fall. Square Enix.
That was Platinum Games. So that's Square Enix, and who was the developer that made that?
I think it was Platinum.
It was Platinum Games.
Yeah, exactly. So again, it's like these do not count for what I'm looking for. Me, I actually do want a slow start or a bit more of a timid start for Concord. First of all, I think the game needs it. I think that the game, if you were to place it in front of 5 million people right now, like you said, 5 million copies in 3 months, I think 90% of those are not going to come back. I think it's not at the stage where it's ready to be shown to that many people. It's going to have way too much scrutiny. The parts of the game that need a little bit of fine-tuning, it's not ready for a big reveal yet. I think it's actually better that it comes out to, let's say, a tepid amount of sales, 200,000 in 3 months. And then from there, it starts building up until it hits a crescendo, maybe a pregnant pause again. You know, give it a Starfield treatment. 9 months down the line, let's take a look at it. You know? Oh, by the way, we're at the end of July. This is 9 months, guys. Yeah. We've had our pregnant pause. Yeah. Starfield is trash, ain't it?
Starfield's fantastic.
Didn't I tell you?
Yo, here we go.
Frames. It got 60 frames, dog. Listen, it got 60 frames. You can play that.
That brought it back to life. That brought it back to life.
That brought it back to life. And it's a live service game. It's getting DLC.
Yeah,
that's a fact. It is a live service game.
Let me get my flowers.
I'm looking forward to when those vehicles show up. I'm jumping back in.
There you go. It's getting vehicles. See, look at that. Ooh. So got the pregnant pause.
They're catching up to No Man's Sky.
It's gonna be the next. It's gonna be the next No Man's Skies.
It's catching up. It's catching up to No Man's Skies, man.
In a few more years, you're gonna play it on PSVR2.
Hey, Ramon, it looks fun, doesn't it? It looks like it could be fun.
Well, no, I played it, so I know it's fun. But yeah, I did.
No.
And yes, I have already atoned for trying to give the benefit of the doubt.
You played on PC. You played at his best, glorious PC.
It's so funny because Starfield, the announcement, Xbox's announcement of how Starfield would run was what sent me to PC. That was like the last straw. You know how the modern Shaft with Samuel Jackson when he took his badge and he threw it and it embedded in the wall.
That was you.
That was me.
Xbox, threw that shit.
My Xbox, but I threw it. I was like, that's the last straw. No more broken promises, and that's what sent me to PC.
Yeah, I think Bethesda always gonna get W's, fan. Like, no matter who want to talk about them, they their fans love them. So Starfield, while he says Starfield is trash, people love that game.
No, wait. Hey, Extreme's gonna go crazy when that shit lands on PlayStation. That shit's like the #1 seller. I'm sorry, brother. Listen,
I've always said that. I've always said that. I don't trust none of you people in the chat. Because the fans, I've always said this from day one. You remember? Don't be like this. That the Extreme didn't expect it. I've always said that. The one you can get me on the Sea of Thieves. I didn't expect Sea of Thieves. Sea of Thieves,
that blew up. That was funny.
That was a surprise. That was a surprise. I didn't expect that.
It had 11 seasons.
I think people just wanted to try it because it looked kind of, all them updates and stuff people been seeing. But most people dropped off. But most people dropped off the planet because they was like, this game is it's different. Yeah. Yeah. I be trying not to hate on Xbox games because I know there's people that love them joints. I just let them live.
Let them.
I play games like Sea of Stars and the Dave the Diver, so I can't really talk.
Sea of Stars is great, and so
I know. I platinum both of them, but still,
as you should. So
I don't even know what Dave the Diver is. I didn't even bother.
We talked about this last time.
I probably fell asleep. My eyes were open, but tuned out.
It just information.
It's just. I just, like in class.
Listen, we're talking about Concord. What do you say about Concord? Right. Somebody said that they have bad marketing, or said they didn't market them enough. How? They gave a special controller, which they didn't give to fucking Horizon, which I'm still mad about. And J-Dub, I don't care.
There wasn't a Horizon controller?
I don't want a statue. I want a controller, because I don't have space for a statue in my sizable house. But the point is, I don't like paraphernalia, okay? But you know what I wanted?
It's more to dust. It's more shit to dust.
There's more shit to clean.
Exactly, bro. Exactly. I don't want
shit to pack when you move.
I could have had.
Yeah.
It's true though. Am I right? When you start getting figurines and all this shit, you realize, wait a minute. Exactly. And then you got a special wrap it because it might.
Just get ready to say you got.
I'm about to say, especially if you get movers.
Just for the one.
If you get movers, you got to really pack your stuff right.
You got to pick it yourself.
No, that's the stuff you pack yourself. Yeah, exactly. You pack that yourself.
All right. Let me. All right, so let me go on to the last topic. I touched on it, right? So PSVR2 got a nice, sizable, huge price cut, right, of $200. And like normal, you got probably the dudes that were on the fence, but 500, 550 is just too much. You just can't do it. But 350, 300, they bit and stuff like that, right?
Wait, hold on. We talked about PS5 Pro.
Yeah, pretty much. That was
I'm coming at the end.
Okay, I'm coming at the end, man. It's all good, Pretty much, they're scared.
It's been 2 hours, bro.
Yeah, they're scared. Listen, bro. Listen. At the end of the day, what it is, we'll sum it up for you. Xbox is scared that their games is gonna run best on Pro. That's what they're scared. So now they're election deniers. It doesn't exist. So that's pretty much it. There is no PS5 Pro. They're gonna hold on to that until the official announcement. The same guys with the Scorpio symbol. Now all of a sudden you gotta wait for official announcements. I don't know. Okay. Interesting community. Remember the whole Crash Bandicoot with the X? Yeah, how that turned out. The game's canceled. Hey, interesting. That's
true.
And they had the X because they were anticipating exclusive, and the game's not even coming out at all for anybody.
Yeah, because Spencer was like, "Hey, I'm thinking about bringing this back factory, Hills IP back."
He's not bringing shit back. He's not bringing none of them shits back. He's like, "Get the fuck out of here." Phil Spencer's like, "You guys don't buy shit."
Damn. He really did them like that. Yeah, that's crazy.
Did you notice those avatars aren't around no more? They took them down.
Yeah, I actually have noticed that.
Yeah, the game's canceled, so there's no point in having Crash Bandicoot with the X. Crash Bandicoot says he's been neutered. But with PSVR 2, right? Got a slight increase, right? And I think they said sales went up by like 2,000%. I got it. Yeah. I don't want to talk too much about PSVR 2 itself, because I think it's still a niche product, right? I think Meta did a little bit better by being a much cheaper and being more accessible. But if PSVR, money on it, right? Yeah. But with PSVR 2 dropping, dramatically, I want to look at what would happen with PS5. It got a nice significant price cut because the Slim is still $400. The disc is $450. It only got the disc is
probably be at 70. They probably be at 70 or 80 million.
Yeah, so like the disc is $450, so only got a $50 price cut. The Slim didn't get a price cut at all. It's still $400. What would happen if the PS5, got $350 for the Slim, $400 for the disc?
It'd probably be.
Can you imagine the blow up of that thing?
Yeah.
Can you imagine that?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I mean, I get it. Maybe like is the manufacturing for these consoles still at the point where if they try to sell it at 350, 400, they'll lose money?
According to Totoki,
Yeah.
that's the last word that we have. And yes, manufacturing costs have not gone down like they usually do.
That is
and that's why they haven't been able to reduce the cost. So that's why we haven't seen a cost reduction.
That is crazy.
Sony full of Sony foolish because they ain't really go down on price on the PlayStation 4 like that. Like it took them a long time. Their excuse back then because the manufacturing wasn't the thing.
The PS4 2017 was $250 with the Uncharted, and the reason why I know it because that's how I won the bet against the Xbox because they thought the Xbox One X was going to win November PD. Boy, when that PS4 came out $250 with Uncharted, shit, that shit won me money.
I didn't say it didn't go down. I said it didn't go down for a long time. That's almost 4 or 5 years.
No, but that's $250. Before that, it went from 400 and then it went to 350 to 300. It gradually dropped, not fast, but there was like a $50 price cut, like a year and a half, 2 years, whatever. But by the time 2017 came down, that shit they were selling that shit for $250.
I think when they announced the Pro, they going to cut the price on the 4.
Like they'll have to
like $50 or something of that nature.
Yeah, because they can't cross over 600.
Yeah, I think that thing's gonna be at least 600, 6 bones at least.
Yeah, I'm saying they can't cross over that. They can't cross over.
If it's worth, they better cross over.
I'll be honest, I
already know you want them to, but you know
they better. I
want meaningful hardware.
Gonna waste my time. Hey, listen, bring something worth it.
If it does everything you would want it at 600, you gonna be mad.
120.
I definitely understand the logic. I don't have a dog in this fight because I don't need
PC Master Race. You already got it. Your rig is better than the Pro, so that's peasant.
I got a PS7 Pro.
You got the PS7 Pro already.
Roman, people will come out with like a Nvidia 4090 at $2,000 or more. And no one will bat an eye. They'll just be like, yeah, well, that's the price of admission. But for consoles, it's like, oh no, you guys
consoles is kind of different. Consoles is kind of different with that, though.
Why? Phones are like $2,000. Whoever thought phones should be at $2,000?
You could do way more with your phone, though.
You're not wrong, but the mindset is different. The mindset is different, though, because people finance.
While I agree, you could do more your phone, but $700 phones can still do the same thing. The $2,000
exact same thing.
So you're not just so $700 phone and the $2,000 phone is not dramatically different in terms of access to apps. Like the iPhone 13 regular does the same shit for most part as the i15 Pro, other than maybe the camera and all these specific unique shit. But for the most part,
you're absolutely right because my wife has the Pro and I have the regular, the Plus.
The question is, my point is this, yeah. If you look at the 4060 at your 4090, you can see like a 3x price difference or more. If you look at a regular iPhone to the Pro Max, you can see a 2x price difference.
It's a big difference.
But if you want to say, oh, look at a console, I just want a 1.5 times price difference. But like, no, it's a console. It cannot be beyond this one. I'm like, why? Why can I
don't disagree with you. I don't disagree with you, but I just wonder if the console player mentality has a
console player mentality. Nah, fuck it. They'll update it.
Man, have you seen how much of
it? No, but I see what Ramon's talking about. But the thing is, that's what the PS5 is for. It's for those gamers. For the gamers that don't want to buy a $650-$700 console, you got the regular PS5. If you're not willing to pay that much. Yeah. I think what me and Extreme are trying to say is don't waste our time with a Pro model that's just like a half-ass bump.
Like a PlayStation 4 Pro. That was garbage.
Yeah, that was a waste.
Absolute garbage.
No, the PlayStation Pro, the PS5, the PS4 Pro was a half-ass.
If you're going to do it.
That's why I was against the PS5 Pro because I was like, I don't like half steps. If you're going to do it right. That's why I was against
if you're going to do it the way I want you to do it, I don't mind paying for it because I actually
do it. Yeah.
Exactly. So then this thing where they can't cross over 600, I'm like, they can't do it at 600. 600 is literally like 150 from where they are now. Why are they going to put in there for $150? What, they're going to give you a faster SSD or they're going to give you a slightly bigger SSD, 1 terabyte? That's what they can put in there for $150. You see how much Apple charges for storage space. They charge you like $200 just to go 1 terabyte. That's what you guys are talking about. That's the kind of upgrade you get. I don't want a terabyte upgrade like, oh, it'll come out with 2 terabytes of hard drive space. Here's a PS5 Pro. No, I want it to be a powerful improvement that is worth putting and replacing what I already have. And if they're going to do that, dude, they could come out at $1,000. I will make my decision from there. But the point is, at least it will be there, it will exist, and I can take my time to decide whether I get it or I get the one afterwards. But I want it to be something better than the PlayStation 4 Pro was. Because I can tell you, as a person that got the PlayStation 4 Pro for free, it wasn't even worth the swap. It wasn't.
It wasn't worth the energy putting your games on it. It's
exactly. I should have just left it in the box and sold it later. I would have made more money. Would have been worth my while. That would, because also it was a special edition. It was one of 50,000 in the world. It was really cool. I got there.
I'm really curious how close to fact these leaked specs are supposed to be. Because they are significant.
They sound beast.
It sounds significant,
yes,
but I don't think it's going to manifest as big as people think it's going to be. They're talking about GT6 in 60 frames per second, 4K, and I can tell you right now,
I don't think
in order to achieve that,
not native.
like, dude, I would like. I'm not even sure I would be able to run it native.
Not native
without any kind of upscaler at 4K 60.
I don't know.
And they ain't gonna release anything.
It's clearly with a scaler. It's clearly with that pisser. It's clearly pisser.
Yeah, but
if it has
even
any
keep in mind, guys. Keep in mind, guys. I'm telling you, I think you're putting a lot of stake into GTA 6. And like that developer said, the former guy that was working on it, he said a lot of people are going to be upset. It's not going to be much different than GTA 5. I think we got to wait because that trailer that they show, we just don't know, man. I'm telling you, it could be like Craig say, just a little bit more.
You think
it's not going to be a night and day difference.
I mean, but that's Grand Theft Auto in itself.
I think people are going off of what they said about how many buildings you can go in and all of that, right?
Yeah,
it's a lot more dense.
No, but I agree with you, J-Dub, but I'm saying if you think about it, right, Grand Theft Auto is pretty much Grand Theft Auto in different cities, really. That's how the game is the base. Like, I don't know why people are like it's supposed to be something different. It's just in Miami. Yeah. It's Grand Theft Auto in Miami,
and it's just keep in mind, it's going to be more dense.
I think what it is, that's really what it's about. It's the density of what they do in the game. It's like just how the world is so alive. As with each and every iteration that they release, but it is Grand Theft Auto. It's just how they just pack more into it.
It's going to be a CPU heavy game, and if it's a CPU heavy game, based on the specs we've seen, if it strikes anywhere close to that, the PS5 Pro running that at 60 frames is going to be interesting to see it achieve.
I don't know. Sony masters
there's always
stuff out.
Yeah,
and I'm not saying it's not going to happen, but that'd be
they got made it 4K. It's going to be AI scaling. It's going to be scaling technology.
And I just say a $1,000 PlayStation 5 Pro has a better chance of running that at 60.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
You're not lying.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. You're not lying.
If they come out with a $1,000, I'm going to buy a PC from there on. This is the PC.
He's not lying. A $1,000 PS5 Pro will have a better chance of doing it than a $600 PS5 Pro.
And the 10 people who buy it would be in heaven.
You're not lying. I think that's the point, right? Where's that balance of getting good performance and price, right? But I think the saving grace is if people are concerned with price, you got the PS5 Slim. You stay there. Hell, they'll probably even drop the price. It might be even $400 for the digital. I mean, $350 for the digital, $400 for the disc. You got yourself an affordable PS5. Obviously, you're not compared to problem. I'm thinking, $700 is the good balance of a nice, powerful hardware that is significant over the PS5, but not too ridiculous to where people will just say, you know, like the truth just said, I'm going to PC. Because I think $1,000 console would just make people be like, you know what, if I'm going to drop a G, I might as well go to PC.
I'm already close. Yeah.
I might as well just go all the way.
Extra another 1,000 or $5,000. I might as well just go PC.
You just might as well commit if you're going to get it to 1,000.
That is such like, I'd never understood that logic because I'm like, no. If you are the $1,000 console, you are literally at the elite of the elite where you will need to match that with like $4,000 on the PC side to get back to that same level of performance. There is still a great chasm there. Like people are like, oh, well, I may as well just invest. Yeah, you will invest in what? A PSU and a case? And then like what? A motherboard. And that's your $1,000 on PC to build up something that will eventually become equivalent. Now, I get it. You can say over time, I can change parts and everything. Yeah. But eventually, that motherboard needs to be changed again because they go to the next CPU generation. Consoles still have a place. And yes, there can be premium priced, luxury priced even consoles out there. Just because no one has ever done it doesn't mean the market doesn't exist for it.
Well, they did it. Remember, Neo Geo was premium price, and people are like,
yeah.
But was it worth it? Was it worth that price?
Everybody ain't you, console players are looking for the...
That's the thing. Something that seems worth it, and like, man, that's cool, I want it. Oh, that's $1,000. Ooh.
Yep. Dead.
Ooh. Like, the reverse can happen, right? You can see something you really want until you got to know the price to get it, and now people be like, ooh, hold on second thought. Yeah, I think I might fall back. You know what I'm saying? Like a price could make something that looks very appealing unappealing. You know, depending on who you're talking to.
Real quick.
Yeah. It could, you know, it could make like something like, yo, that shit is dope, I want it. Yeah, only gonna cost you $3,000. Ooh.
I mean, that's why the Apple Vision Pro, right?
You know,
the Apple Vision Pro just had that.
Yeah.
Like $5,000.
Yeah. People, that thing looked cool until they told us the price. Now we're like, ooh, yeah, about that. Yeah, you just kind of, you know, now you're talking about the enthusiasts. You know what I'm saying?
Listen,
look at the OLEDs when it first came out. Now everybody loves OLEDs, but that's because it dropped down to $1,000. But when that thing was $4,000 or $5,000, ain't nobody buying OLEDs. Ain't nobody was like, oh, I gotta get an OLED for my gaming. Ain't nobody was about that life. Everybody was like, only like the Hard 8 and the J-Dubs were about that OLED life. But as soon as that OLED, they're the only ones talking about OLED. Oh, I'm gonna get that new Sony. I'm looking at J-Dub, like, Porrock, you gonna get that Sony TV? I'm like, J-Dub, that shit's $8,000.
Yeah, I ain't nothing J-Dub.
Like, bro, how much do you think they paid me in the military? Are you out of your mind? You know, nobody was talking about OLEDs in 2020. Now, everybody's about the OLED. Oh, you ain't got an OLED, dog? Shit. Like, bro, an OLED's $1,000. Stop it. All right? I respect Hard 8 because he does it when the shit's like $4,000 or $5,000. Everybody, you know, that's just how it is. And nobody was about that OLED life. You know, in 2020, 2019. That shit was like 4Gs, 5Gs. Now in 2024, I gotta have OLED. I only watch games, play games on OLED. Yeah, since when? Last year, right? On Black Friday. On Black Friday, right? You're about that OLED life last year. Right? Let me look at your Twitter. Yeah, I see that TCL. I saw that TCL you rocked in 2021. I see that for not even HDR. You just got the basic 4K in 2021. You know, 1.0 HDMI. Get out of here.
Listen, we can solve this right now. PlayStation 5, $400 to get it, no problem.
Yeah.
PlayStation 5 Pro, $650, no problem. PlayStation 5 Pro Extreme, $1,000.
What you want your own
Pro Extreme, and it's a one-on-one. It's a one-on-one.
Trust me, I'll buy all of you guys.
And it's spelled with 4 E4 Extreme, the special edition PlayStation 5, just his own.
PlayStation 5 Pro E for Extreme.
You know, that's it. Only one of one. You know, that's it. That's all right, brother. But hey, all right. But anyway, I think that's it. We hit up all the topics. Shout out to C-Fix38. Thank you for the super chat. He said Xbox has 500 million MAU and still in last place. Yeah, Xbox is including everything now. They're including Candy Crush, any game that goes through them. That's their player population. That might be fine for them in the direction that they're going. But as far as console space, that number doesn't mean anything. Their console is just... They didn't qualify for the Olympics. that console is finito. But I think we covered all the topics, unless any one of you have something.
To say,
go America in the Olympics, as always. Yeah. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead. You should be patriotic. No, what I was going to say is that with the PlayStation VR2, right?
Yeah.
$350. That's a price where you can be like, I'll try it.
Yeah, and that's what's happening.
Yeah. Because for me, I'm like, listen, if I didn't have all the things I was saving up for, at $350, I'll be like, yeah, sure, give it a go. If I don't like it, I'll turn it on Facebook Marketplace for $250, lose $100 on it. Not bad, you know. So
if they could get it, if they could get it this holiday to $300 or $250 temporary price drop for Black Friday,
that's bought.
$250 Black Friday.
It's bought. I don't even need a reason. I don't even need a reason.
You just grab it.
It'd be like a portal. I just try it. Like, fuck
you just
maybe
bought
I love it. Maybe I won't.
But $250 you could dive in. $250 you could try it out. Yeah.
$250 is
that's what they need to do.
Just like
sometimes
wait for the game.
I think they're going to do that, right? Though it just makes sense because the way they're hitting right now, I think that holiday sale gonna be crazy.
Yeah, you gotta. If you got people willing to make VR games, you gotta bite the bullet and push the systems out there, even if it means deeper loss. If people are willing to still make VR games, if people who make VR exclusives are willing to put games on PSVR2, but you need a bigger audience, then you got to do what you got to do to get that bigger audience out there so you could get the games coming through, right? And then hopefully over time, through the sell of games and your 30% cut, you'll make up the difference, right? But you can't just let it stagnate. You know, the 500 is just too much. They're just not going to jump in. It's a lot, you know? I mean, you get a $400 PlayStation, $450, and then you want to throw another 500? That's a lot. That's a lot to ask for the deeper consumer.
That's PlayStation 5 Pro money.
Yeah, that's pro money. That's $1,000 right there.
That's pro money right there.
That's pro money.
Pro extreme money.
That's the pro extreme and stuff, Bill. Sony's got to get that thing out the door to allow the developers to have a bigger audience to sell games to. That's just it is what it is.
One thing before I let you guys go. Yeah. What do we think about the Bungie thing? Because I read the Bungie thing, I was happy.
Oh, that was the first topic.
You said,
that was the very first topic.
Man, that was the very first topic. Sony found a way to make exclusives.
Oh, I like it. Okay, good. So we're all on the same vibe.
Yeah,
because I was like, this is great news.
Oh yeah, we get exclusives again. This. You know, that's it. I get to talk shit to more Xbox, not on Xbox.
Just so y'all know, E didn't mean the 200 people that got fired. He was talking about the other part.
It was only 70 people that got fired.
No, it's 200.
220.
It was 220.
220, but 150 they moved into other parts.
No, 220. No. 220 got fired, and then 150 got moved to Sony and 75. They're all separate.
They're all separate. So 220 got fired, and they replaced. He said, "I don't give." He's not gonna lie. He's like, whatever. He's like, I don't care. He's like, whatever. They got severance package, you know.
Yeah, they did. I was glad to hear that.
So 220 left. 155 of those empty positions got filled in by Sony's own first-party positions, and then 75 that was in Bungie.
Made a new studio.
They removed them to make a new studio, so that way the game that would have been made by Bungie is now going to be made by a new studio, which means it doesn't have to be on Xbox.
And it's science fantasy, which is very close to science fiction. I'll accept it. Because
you were talking about Mass Effect. We need a new Mass Effect.
Yeah,
you want a new Mass Effect? Imagine. That would piss off so. That's gonna piss off so many Xbox families.
That's gonna be hard to do with 75 people, bro.
You know, I want to go back. Let's go back to the topic. Let's go back to that topic. I want to finish that topic off, but I want to look at this. If this right here, if Sony found a way to take a Bungie game and through a loophole, now forming a new studio, which means not on Xbox. If that doesn't motivate Phil to be like, you know what, fuck you, then nothing will. Because if Phil doesn't react to that, if Phil doesn't be like, wait a minute.
He will react to it. He'll call it slimy business practices and he'll whine.
But I'm talking about
I know what you're saying, but the reality is he'll whine again about
shut Project Latitude down. Shut all this bullshit down. We're going back to just games on Xbox.
And then Satya be like, excuse me?
You're fired.
Phil been on that. Phil been on that. Yeah, I'm about to say, that's Phil. Satya and them ain't having it.
Yeah. You know, but what I'm saying is, if this doesn't motivate, like Sony found a way to keep Bungie game because it's not a Bungie game, quote unquote. If that shit don't motivate him, nothing will. So Xbox, you need to pay attention to what Phil does. If this shit don't motivate him to now double down on Xbox exclusive, nothing will. Nothing will. If he just goes online,
that train has already left the station, bro. There ain't no. Satya's like, okay, I appreciate your passion. How goes
500
the Starfield port? How goes the Indiana Jones port? And so forth and so on. Like, I appreciate your passion, but when are those games dropping on PlayStation?
Yo, feel liable to congratulate the new studios. Hey, congratulations on launching the new game. You guys are great. It's not even on Xbox.
And standing behind him will be Satya with a gun to the middle of his back.
Boy, Satya, boy. That boy said.
So Satya's the worst thing that can happen to Xbox.
You gonna like it.
No, that's
is it the worst thing?
For Xbox, at least from an Xbox fan point, if they would have just been like, we don't care about Xbox, Phil, do what you want to do, Phil. We're going to leave you alone. But
I'm going to be honest with you.
But the moment Satya's like, what you got going on over there? Oh, that shit went downhill for that brand.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest with you. I think these bots are going to be happy when they move to PC and they had their little Game Pass, and Xbox is a third party, and then they can say they got the most powerful every version and all that stuff. They'll be all right.
How many of those dudes are going to move to PC?
They're not happy.
Like, how many of those dudes?
They're on PC. They're
the ones that hate PlayStation ain't coming to PlayStation.
Look at my little brother. My man left PC. He like, I can't do it. He like, yo, I'm troubleshooting 9 times out of day. He's like, man, I can't be doing this shit. If it's not the
trying to tell both of y'all, CPU, like it doesn't even have to be that bad though. It doesn't have to be that bad.
I want no.
I'm a living testament. I am not a tech guy. I am not a tech guy who likes to tinker, and I have had virtually no issues.
Please stop. You like Redfall, please.
Yeah, I'm about to say.
I like Redfall. I said, look at fun, and I came back later and said what happened? Looking crazy out here with what they read.
What happened?
Man, we got an op. We got an op on the podcast. My man tried to PC. Man, we're not frame rate counting and checking temperatures, bro. We're not doing that. We're not doing that here, man.
We saw those images I sent you, man. Come on now.
Yeah, but there's a price to pay, man. I'm like, man, I don't know that shit. I mean, them graphics are good, but man, I ain't trying to go to a Russian website to figure out why my power supply acting up.
I played 4 hours of Grand Blue Fantasy today, and all I had to do was log on.
Oh man. We gotta learn Cobalt and shit.
I know I'm fighting the losing battle, but I'm trying to tell y'all, man, it's nice over here.
Please stop. You like Starfield. Please stop.
He's gotta give us a command prompt to start up a game. I'm like, oh man, I ain't doing this.
Install mods, Emmanuel. It's good now.
You only have to log into DOS twice a month.
We'll fuck with you. I was like, oh man, I'm losing this battle.
You only have to log in. You only have to boot up DOS twice a day.
Be like, I don't want a PSN login. Please stop.
Man, Ramon, you see how much trouble I have You see how much trouble I have running a podcast? I'm trying to get the sound right still. I've been trying to work on my sound for like the last 7 years, and I still can't get this shit right. Oh shit. Yo, Z, what's going on, man?
What's going on, good brother? How you been, man?
What's up, man? What's going on, my brother? How's everything with you? It's been a minute.
It's been a minute. What's the topic? You still want to right?
Well, no, now we're just vibing now. We already went through the topics. How's Xbox been treating you?
Well, you know what happened. Listen, I'm suffering ED now. I got ED, man.
Erectile dysfunction.
Yeah, man. Series S gave me ED, bro. I'm down bad. I'm down bad, brother. So that sums it up, man. We down bad. Let me ask you a question, B-Rock. I see when the numbers came out. When you said the revenue, right, and hardware was down with 47%. Yeah. Do you think that they're still going to be in the consoles or making consoles?
I don't think so, man. Like, it's just like, for what, man? We seen these numbers every single quarter. At a certain point, how many times do you keep telling your shareholders, our shit suck? So the shareholders like, then why the fuck are we doing this? Like, you keep reporting these shitty numbers. You keep telling us no one's really buying it. Like, at a certain point.
Okay.
Let me put it this way: if Microsoft was willing to give up on phone business, and you have to admit, having a phone in the market is more lucrative than console, because you get more than just game sales. You get app sales. the phone itself, contracts with with Sprint, T-Mobile, all that shit, right? All the apps, you get tons of money. There's phones are much more lucrative than consoles because you sell so much productivity software. I mean, there's a shit ton of money. And they gave that up. So if they're willing to give up phone hardware, they'll give up console hardware.
So here's my take, right? Not my take, well, I mean, not to, but so we look at I say Phil took over publicly in 2014 February. Basically,
this is all Don Magic's fault. It's still his fault.
Yeah, I mean, people like to say that Phil had to turn around from the Xbox. Generation just started. The generation started in fucking November. Excuse my French. In November 2013, November 20 of 2013, right? Yeah. That's when the Xbox One came out. Phil took over publicly like in February of 2014, so 2 months maybe. But they have convinced themselves that Phil had to turn it around for Xbox. He had to save it. Generation just started. Same rule. The Dalai Lama, the hobgoblin goblin. It was a damsel in distress, right? Whatever, right? But so even all the games, I would say, look at the scope of the games that Donnie gave us. The deals, whether the Tomb Raiders or Titanfalls, all that stuff, and compare that to Crossfire X or Medium or the Falconeer. This is the scope of the game, right? I've been gaming for a long time. I have to be see, but yeah. So like you said, jokes about books was candy, right? But if you look at the scope of the game, so what? Like, bro, I've never seen a generation where a console came out with nothing. Like, you think about the last AAA game, like you said, the last AAA game we got outside of Gears, Forza, and Halo was Quantum Break, and that released in 2016. And it also came from Johnny. So you got 2016 to 2020, right? Nothing, no new games, right? Nothing. And you got from 2020, right? You got to 2020 to fucking 2020 to get their first next generation game with Redfall and Starfield. So you got 6 years with nothing, right? Mm-hmm. Do you think that's done by? Do you think that was just the luck of the draw? Do you think that just like how does that happen? like this thing I'm also might be facetious. Like you think about I think it was done intentionally.
I don't know, man. I can't explain it, man. Because you're right. The formula is easy. Release goddamn games.
Yeah, the reason why I say it was done intentionally because there's no way in hell you could do a better job at supporting your first offering with the original Xbox. You know what I mean? The first time to the dance, right? First time there, and to be so inept at the job. Like how do you still have a job? Hardware numbers down, software numbers down. This is year over year, right? How do you see something? This has been done intentionally. You know what I mean? Like he said, and also too, if you look at the wording, since they deal with Minecraft, right? And right after that, they just say, it's unhealthy to keep shit from other gamers. Like, they start saying how you say what they was giving the back end. But before the trial with the ABK thing, they already had dev kits for the PS5. You know what I mean?
But
they had it back in 2020. They had the dev kits for the PS5, making Sea of Thieves on PS5. I wanted the frosted glass.
Yeah,
I'm about to say, Z. I wanted to say this though. I what you're saying. I think some of that could be right because I think they were trying to change the trajectory of how gaming was, where they were going to say, okay, now gaming be anywhere because they knew Sony really can't compete on that level. They don't have the parent company that can back that type of stuff for a long time.
Oh, I'm sorry, your mic went out. You said You said Sony can be in check. Said good brother.
No, I was saying I hear you on that concept. I do think that they that it could have been intentional, you know what I'm saying? Because I think they were trying to change the dynamic of how gaming was done. So I think they really was trying to change it to a games, Netflix type of service to where Sony would have to compete on that level. And if Sony had to compete with Microsoft on that level where there wasn't no hardware and it was just a service, it'd be a lot harder for Sony to maintain that.
It still comes down to games, bro. You know what I mean? At the end of the day.
Right, but I'm saying that the Xbox was trying to change the dynamic. It just didn't work. And that's why they start flip-flopping on like keeping hardware and going to Game Pass and keeping hardware. And I think right now they're just lost because their main strategy was just trying to get everybody to Game Pass and then say, now Sony can't fuck with us. If they changed the battlefield, Sony would have been in a worse place.
Yeah, I don't even think that's too much because even with that, the software, you had to have quality pieces to go in your service. There's no way Netflix can compete with Amazon Prime, whatever. If they don't have quality content to go outside the service. Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, look, bro, we talk about a third of the industry. They own so many developers. You have nothing. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you just think, and you have nothing. Just think about that, bro. They own a third of the industry and have nothing. Like, that's not, like, bro, we talking about, again, the world. Like, bro, there's no way in hell that, when you get to say, hey, Sony's out there money hat. There's no way Sony can money hat Microsoft. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like, if that was the case, Microsoft, they would have had to deal with Square Enix with Tomb Raider. With Tomb Raider, you know what I mean? The Square Enix is supposed to be the time, you know what I mean? Or if that was the case about, you know, money hatting, shit, Ninja Gaiden, remember that shit? Ninja Gaiden did a lot. That's more Japanese developers. You know, those were just still exclusive time for the Xbox back in the day. Bro, this shit has been done intentionally, man. Like, this thing, like, bro, there's no way in hell. Your company says so much and gives nothing. Like, bro, like, come on, bro. Like, this shit wasn't done by the, like, we talking about the $1 trillion company. Game Pass thing, that's all they will always want to do. I mean, they will always going to do a service like that. They came out, you know, when they got hacked before. They will always want to do a service. I mean, they don't do what's called knee-jerk reactions. You know what I mean? You know, you don't turn the shoe around like that. But it always, like I said, comes down to the game. Like, I mean, you want to compete just at the other, but you release no games. Like that makes no sense, or even how you say, or any sense whatsoever. Like, just look. I'm not even how you say with a 10-4 hat on. You just think about it from that. Like, yo, this motherfucker is a double agent. Like, bro, just look at it. Everything that console game was like, he went away from. It's unhealthy to keep it, bro. Even the talk of putting Gears and Halo and all that stuff, that shit came out of that Minecraft deal. Like, this has always been the move, bro. Like, I mean, like, real talk. Like, I mean, like there's always, how you listen, real talk. How do you like look, you take stuff that wasn't even part of the Bethesda deal. You know, they said, you will get Bethesda titles. You're gonna have places where Game Pass is at. You get half of so that's outside of the legacy title. This shit was done. This has always been the move, bro. So even that whole trial thing, Sony wasn't on it. Like, bro, just think about it. He helped the players all. Like, what the fuck, get the body here, man. And it's sad to say, and especially if you have no one to take their place, it's very unhealthy. Like, you need competition. That's how the industry drives and throws. Can you imagine it was what with just Nintendo? Like, the real talk, it was only Nintendo. They don't want to be gaming no more. They can't even talk. It's like the mother for the peanuts. Like, Charlie Melly, this is 23 million. They can't. Can you imagine? It was, you know what I mean? I know people like to get Nintendo a pass, but man, if the world was only Nintendo, I wouldn't even be gaming no more, bro. Look at this, like, this real talk, like, bro, it's sad to say, look, that this man has come in and destroyed his fucking job. The council, they beat him. They hired the job, a new job. They the fucking council war. It's over, bro. Like, I mean, like you're like, listen, we're not talking about games like baseball where it makes sense. There's all the baseball in town. I get it, but you're taking games like High Five Rush, my nigga. I ain't gonna play those, but you know, and you take like, well, that's crazy. Like, you know what I mean? And you know, but how you say, it's too late for the turnaround. Everything was done is done, and they have, I guess, how you say, put them on their own costs, and you know, with some of these channels, you know what I mean? We're not just, how you say, refusing to call, filling them out with the bullshit. You know what I mean? Or you know what I mean? But what do I know, man? But you say, what, you give one more generation? If that, because they're not even doing the refresh, are they?
Yeah, it's done. The end of this generation. I mean, they are, the way Satya already sounding and talking and shit. It's a wrap, man. They're already putting shit in place to replace the 22 million goddamn consoles that they sold. Right? They may, at the end of this generation, they may get to 30 million. That's about it. At the way they're going. They this holiday season, they lowered the price to $139 for the Series S, $349 for the Series X, and motherfuckers still didn't buy it. They still didn't sell anything. It still didn't make NPD, or they still didn't have any tangible numbers. A month later, Phil came out, said that games are going to go to PS. Some games are going to go to PS. Remember, it's just four games. Remember that he said that. 2 months after that, he said, "Yeah, we got more games coming." And now, it's like, it is what it is. I mean, this is the same company that paid Ninja $30 million and shut down the goddamn thing like 3 weeks later. Like,
they gave. Listen, the same company that gave Ninja all that money, shut in there, but wouldn't give the developer $8 million to make a 2 version of Phantom Dust. Like, you know what I mean? Like, again, like, real talk, like, bro, if you think about it, what has Microsoft been successful outside of Windows? You know what I mean? Like, you know, everything everything Microsoft touches outside of Windows goes to shit, bro. Whether the Zoom, because the why? And I'm gonna shut up after this. because they don't need that money. You know what I mean? It's like, you know what I mean? It's like, well, you got Microsoft, so you got Sony, you got Nintendo. Hey, listen, if our shit don't sell, we don't eat. You know what I mean? You know, we got to back and go home. It's not the case. It's, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? And it's not the same. How you say? You know, how you say? It's not the same. We don't eat. We don't. You know, we don't eat. You know what I mean? We don't succeed. We don't eat. You know what I mean? And it's not the same thing for Microsoft. You know what I mean? If the Xbox don't fail, go belly up, fine. We still up and running. We still got it. If the Switch or 2 or a game it fails with Nintendo or a game it fails with Sony, they out of there. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? That's all they got. You know what I mean? Just and I think that is the overall. I mean, that's why you say it's like the same level of how you say same level of how you say not desperation, but you know what I mean? Like, you know, like we gotta make something happen. We gotta make some shit. Like, bro, if that was it, there's no way how they could treat that platform like that, like, but nothing. Like, bro, it's sad, bro. It's sad how they fucking what the Xbox used to be, my nigga, and then what it is now. Like, bro, that's bro. They became the Ouya of gaming, my nigga. The Ouya of gaming.
Yep.
And what do I know, man? What do I know? When the Pro coming out? What, in September?
Oh,
Yeah, nobody know.
That's what they say.
Maybe the announcement
in September. Yeah.
Yeah.
You getting that Pro?
Yeah, I'm getting it, Pro. Thanks to you, my brother. With that bet,
$60 down. He got that $60 down. Payment.
Yeah. Nigga shit. Unity code. You know what I mean? Straight like that.
Yeah.
Now how much do you think it should cost?
How much do you think the PS5 Pro should cost? How much would you think?
I think it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be like $600.
$6.
At least $6.
Yes, man, it'd be 6. I would say 5, but you know, wait, inflation now.
5 is too low.
That was how you say. I think. Watch this. I think if the Xbox would, if it had been, and I'm not just put it back on them, had it been like I said, if this was more closer, and if they would do it in mid-January, I would think it then would be fine. You know, Sony would be forced to do price cuts. Right now, the PS5 should be about $350. You know what I mean? But it's not. Still, you know what I mean? So I
still
think
$500.
So that's why I say the Pro will be 6. Right? That's why I say the Pro will be $600. I mean, but how you say had the Xbox was selling well and it was an even fight. Right now, both counts the series should be $350. So when the Pro came out, you know what I mean, it'd be $500 like it was last minute. But you know, it's a runaway. You know what I mean? I saw 5-1. You know what I mean? Like who the fuck saw that coming again? Like goddamn again. Ain't no way. You know what I mean? Like damn.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, they did.
The judge has been saying it should be $800 this whole time.
Nah, it's a console. Console niggas ain't spending $800. They barely was spending $300.
This guy wants to pay like $900 for it. I can't even. I've been trying to talk him down. I mean,
wow.
There's the PS5 Pro Extreme for $1,000. I'm like, what?
It's not gonna be a huge leap. A huge leap. It's basically gonna run. He said, "Well, we got a little better. It's not a new generation, but console things better. It'll be some dollars. Tops. Yeah, we can work your head.
Judge, calm down, man. Calm down with your expectations.
Yeah.
4K 120, he says.
I don't know about 4K 120. That's
I mean, it was super.
I mean, like
we got that now. We got to get 4K 120 now.
I mean,
that's true.
For certain games, depending on the game.
Students and sports, yeah. I mean, but
it's possible.
Well, I think what you mean the middle, but games that are 30 frames.
60.
You know, they be 60 mandatory or whatever the case may be. You know what I mean? Going for it, but I don't. I mean, games that were 30. Maybe probably you heard something about ray tracing. That should be marketing ploy. We don't hear about ray tracing or stuff no more. You know what I mean? We ain't ray tracing. We ain't ray tracing. And Sony got
the only people that was saying that shit was the goddamn bots, RDX them. You know what I'm saying? The other game that Coke them. They were the only ones that was hyping all that, the RDNA, the full RDNA, and all, Post up there. My brother Post. Listen, how this generation turned out, man, is this shit is fucking sad, bro. Seeing these motherfuckers come out with the world's most powerful console yet again, the world's weakest console.
What do you say? What do you say? Hold on. What do you say?
And they still get dog walk.
Everyone laughed when I made my silly hand graph talking about how the Xbox and the PlayStation are going to be close this console generation, and I actually think they're going to even out by the end of it.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. No, I got one better. I got one better. Here you go. I got one better.
Here you go, bro.
First, that Xbox might be slightly ahead worldwide, ahead of the PS5. There's a rumor, Fonz, and you're here.
You know what I mean? Hey, yo, I ain't gonna lie. That's what.
A whole generation of that. The two. Then it was the tools. Then it was, this shit is crazy.
It feels this thing. Yeah.
Hold on, that same dude that you the clip from, he just put up a thing about the MAUs. He just put up the thing with like 500.
Yeah.
Wait, what did he say about the MAU? What he said?
He said Xbox got 500 MAU and Sony only got like 120 or something. Yeah,
500 million.
Hey, MAUs. What else MAUs?
They're including Candy Crush, phones, everything.
All the ABK users, everything. PlayStation. They combine all of the Activision Blizzard.
Because Candy Crush by itself is like 300 million.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: when you remove ABK from the equation, Xbox is fucking down in the goddamn gutter. Like, that's how you know that motherfucker not selling. It's not doing anything. They own more studios and publishers than Nintendo and Sony combined. And here we are, basically August, and they only released one game this year. What does that tell you, man? That shit is crazy.
Yeah, you know what's crazy? We're tomorrow we're in August. You know, some of you in Europe is already in August. And all y'all got was Hellblade.
That's it.
It's all 8 months. There's only
bro. What third party deals they do so far?
4 months. There's only about 5 months left to the year, and you got Hellblade.
Yeah. What third party deals have they done so far though? Like,
not even. I don't know.
For Game Pass.
Yeah, they don't do. Remember, Phil and them said that's the reason they did the ABK deal and the Bethesda deal.
Yeah,
because they wanted to own the IP and they didn't want to keep spending money on third party deals.
Yeah, no, but they do
with that
some
is
indies.
Until your games are ready. I mean, what indies or what games that
didn't? What's the other one with the little space game?
Oh yeah, the gun. Well, shit, all that shit.
The other space game.
Was it Power Worlds? I guess maybe. I don't fucking know.
Yeah, Power World.
Well, but Sony owns that now. So I mean, shit.
Yo, Sony Music on it. Yeah.
Well, yeah. So I mean, I don't know, man. This that hardware going away. Now, here's the thing: we will be. I honestly believe in 2 years. Microsoft or however they want to call it, Microsoft Gaming or whatever, that's going to be the largest publisher for gaming. Now, how long is that going to last? We don't know because they still have to output high quality games. If they don't, people are just not going to buy those games. And if people are not buying those games, they're going to shutter the studio just like they did with Hi-Fi Rush and the rest of that shit. So I want to see how Call of Duty is going to last. How that is going to keep on under Microsoft. Things don't really get better under Microsoft. Matter of fact, it has a trend going down. Halo trending down. Gears trended down. Forza obviously trended down. Everything that they have that used to be great has went on a downward trajectory. They never bought anything and made it better. Look at Hellblade 2. They bought that studio, but it didn't technically make anything. It didn't change anything from the first one. When it comes to sales, when it comes to notoriety, when it comes to just the scope of the game. Matter of fact, the scope is smaller than the first game, you know. So I don't know, man. I don't know. Gamers speak with their wallets. At the end of the day, Microsoft is a company. They're all about the dollars. If some shit ain't cutting it, it's gonna go to the wind. It's gonna go in the trash. And dudes can say, well, they love us and they care about us and Game Pass and this, but they don't even put out Game Pass numbers anymore. So I don't know. It's gonna be a spooky season for pro Xbox guys.
I think they'll be alright. Third party, like I said, it's a third party. I think.
Yeah, but I'm talking about what are the Xbox guys gonna do? What are they gonna do?
Argue with y'all the same?
They're gonna disappear.
They're gonna turn into PC dudes and argue more.
Good luck, PC. Good luck, PC Nation. You're gonna get a whole bunch. You're gonna get a whole bunch of migrants.
They're already doing it. They're already doing it. They got like half them dudes out here arguing.
Y'all better elect Trump for Xbox.
I was really naive. I was really naive when I was so naive. I was like, man, I bet there's no arguing PC, and then AMD and NVIDIA fanboy, and I'm just like, human beings cannot. Human beings are incapable of not fighting.
Bro, PC gamers,
human beings must fight.
People argue about cereal spoons. They don't care what it is.
PC gamers argue over free launchers.
Yeah, dude, that is the most insane thing. Like, I can understand the EA
game is on
EA
Epic
one
Game
is trash
Store and not on Steam. Like, they will boycott it.
You know the thing that kills me about the Epic thing? Because I remember asking, shout out to Slow Mo Backslap. I asked Slow Mo, I was like, dude, what is so bad about the Epic launcher? He's like, man, people just hate it because it's not Steam. And admittedly, it's not as good as Steam, but he's like, it's fine. Dude, they give you so many free games. Like, I feel obligated to buy at least 1 or 2 games from them every once in a while because they give you so many free games. But people hate them. Like, it just blows my mind.
And here's the thing. Fine, if the PC gamers, like, you don't understand Puerto Rock, Steam gives you blowjobs and nipple twists, and all right, whatever the fuck. Whatever the fuck Steam does. But if you guys could consciously understand that there is a significant difference between Steam and Epic Game Store, that you will have. And keep in mind, you're not paying for anything. It's just a free launcher that you download. But if there is something about it that you're willing to argue for, how the fuck can you guys not understand consoles have the same thing? And you have to pay for consoles. So if you can understand and argue and fanboy over launchers and legitimately have arguments over it, I don't see how you guys don't understand that same concept between Xbox and PlayStation. That's what blows my mind. They look at us like, oh, why you guys arguing between PlayStation consoles? That's so stupid. PC, console peasants. But then on the flip side, oh my God, Epic Game Store has this game. This is terrible. Everybody boycott it. Like, what? So you guys legitimately can understand the arguments of launchers, but you can't understand the arguments of consoles, which legitimately you have to pay and invest for. There's no pay investment for Epic Game Store. It's free. You just download the fucker.
Bro, let me tell you how ridiculous it is. Games that require a launcher that isn't Steam, you can literally, because they have desktop store shortcuts, you can literally open the game without having to go to the launcher. And the launcher opens like in the background, and you don't even have to know it's there. That's the thing that I don't understand. I mean, like I say, if it's EA launcher, it's terrible, and I hear the Microsoft one isn't good. But like half the time, you can launch the game, and you don't even have to know the launcher's there. So that's the one thing that just puzzles me about why people complain about like launchers, because most of them work fine.
Yeah, so that's like, and if it is, let's say there's a legitimate complaint, fine. There's a legitimate complaint between launchers, but with that same mentality, understand the legitimate complaints between consoles. That's what blows my mind. They see the legitimate complaints between launchers, but then they think the legitimate complaints between consoles is stupid. The fuck? Like, what? Cut it out, man. Cut this shit out, man. But anyway, let me do this last super chat with Wana. He said, damn, get that new studio to work on Concord 2. Oh, shit. Oh, shit.
Making a single player game.
They're saying, yo, just release the sequel, dog. Shut this shit down. Yo.
Don't even release this one. Just cancel it.
Just cancel it, Concord 2.
Just send out the controllers.
Start over.
We'll get you in the next game.
Oh shit, this is bad, man. But hey, let me go around the horn. We'll start our outros. We'll start off with we'll go with Extreme.
Yo, guys, hey, listen, I put something on the channel. Isn't that nice? I do that from time to time. Go to my channel. You hear me talk for way too long about a topic or something else, but it'll be a good time. Find me there. Oh, and go to Twitter. If you want people, just come to like my. What happens on Twitter, guys, by the way, where I made one tweet addressed to nobody, and then I get like 3,000 replies.
That's what happens.
And 80% are hating me.
It's that like, tweet. Embrace it. It's that tweet. It's that tweet. You got that tweet. You did it. Sometimes it happens. And sometimes it's the shit you don't intend to. You're like, you know what's about this? And then they pop off. And you're like, what the fuck? pops off. You got that tweet, dog.
I'm having that moment right now. So follow me on Twitter. It's at Info Extreme. There we go.
Embrace the bad guy.
That's where you get your first news of the PlayStation 5 Pro Extreme.
That's
the
it.
Extreme Edition. That'll be the place to first find out.
101.
That's it.
101.
There you go.
Blaze, Sony baby. He said, "Big up the whole panel, love." Shout out to Blaze, man. You should have came through, man. We're about to close it out, but shout out to Blaze, Sony baby. Blaze, you still haven't told me the game you want. All right, you got, you can't prolong, you can't dangle this carrot. All right, chop it up, because he won the bet legitimately. Goddamn, Boston can't stand.
He wait for the good games to come out. He wait for them announce. Yeah, he wait for them.
Wait, what bet did you lose?
Oh, he's waiting for what? Oh no, so it was a sports game, playoffs, for the NBA Finals.
Okay.
Man, fucking Dallas played like dog. That's what I get for betting on Texas.
Yeah.
One and done.
You can bet on them Astros, though. You can bet on them Astros.
Not last year.
Well, this year.
One and done, dog. Listen, one and done. They're the Xbox. They got their one. They got their one win.
What?
You got it. You're cursed with the Xbox. You didn't hear? Donnie D bought shares in the Astros. He bought shares.
Man.
Since we're talking to you, my brother, do your outro, my brother.
Y'all know what it is. Y'all know where to find me, man. On Twitter at JDubCity16, trying to keep you guys laughing with all the gifs and the memes. You know what I'm saying? Xbox is dog shit. Is dying of fiery death, and I love it.
Yeah, but don't worry. He's still gonna play. He's the only dude that actually streams Xbox games, because you won't actually see that on Xbox channels.
Facts.
He'll actually do it. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
Oh man, my man Ramon, what you up to, man? On to the latest books,
just
voice acting. My man's doing it all.
Well, I'm still in the grind / struggle with voice acting. That's a tough nut to crack, and so I'm still working on that. Oh yeah, dude, it's like that's why we're so pissed off with the whole AI thing with voice acting. Because
AI could
dude, it's already hard enough. From my experience, it is like 5 times harder to get into voice acting than film acting.
Wow.
Like if I audition for 10 film jobs or 10 voice acting, I might book 2, 3, or 4 of those 10. Well, back before what do you call it? Before COVID, before it was self-tape. Before COVID,
yeah.
But of those 10 voice acting, I might not book any, or 20, or 30, or 40, or 50. It's hard.
Is it because of how many people are trying to do it? Like, is it more?
Well, it's because you have.
They have a tight example. First of all,
I'll take it's a tight circle, and look at take Troy Baker, for instance. How many voices can he do? So they have film is the same thing where they have their favorites, but it's a very small community to break into.
Yeah, and voice acting ain't easy. People it's extremely hard to be a real good voice actor.
I could voice act some shit.
Nah, you could go in there and say something.
I could voice act some shit.
Different.
You know what I'm saying? You just got to be unfiltered. It can't be G-rated. I can't.
When you got to scream for 3 hours long, I got to do 30 different screams for 3 hours. You're gonna be like, oh.
I can't do Pixar. The curse is gonna come out. You know what I'm saying?
Oh man,
put me in a booth.
No,
I got this. Put me in a booth.
I do want to say. I do want to say what was mentioned earlier. For anybody listening, if you have not played Kena, Bridge of Spirits, play Kena because it is an excellent game. And also, let's all put our heads down and pray for this possibility of Legacy of Kain resurgence. I need that badly. I desperately need it. But other than that, I'm just enjoying games, dude. Blood Omen is always talked past, and it drives me nuts. Like in my opinion, that's one of the best in the series.
I would love a full remake.
Of all of them.
Yeah,
we
need a full remake of all 5 games.
Yes.
All 5.
I think it would be. That. Yes, it's just such a great franchise. Oh man,
that would be an instant buy for me.
It's not easy to do that for a full game. Shit, put me in the next God of War. Let that motherfucker call me boy. I'll be like, you old motherfucker. Who you calling boy? Go ahead and blink. We can end this game right now in the first 10 minutes. We can roll the credits.
Give me 6. All right, I got you right here.
Play with me, Kratos.
No, Porter, I got you right here. Give me 6 different sides right now.
6 different what?
Size.
Like size. Oh, like size?
You know, like
No, don't do that in my ear.
Oh, I could do that. I don't know. That sounds sus, bro. I don't know. People can
There's
get a hard
no, I'm not talking.
Can we do something else? Because I don't know about the whole. You know, I don't know. That's kind of weird. That shit might get clipped, dog.
Well?
That shit get clipped.
Do a couple ranges. Like for instance, you could go high pitched like, "Hi, my name is Ramon," or go something like, "Do what you need to get the Dragon Balls and wish us back, Goku," or something in between.
See, I would, but I'm afraid it might get clipped and then I'll look stupid.
Nah, you
know what I'm saying? Listen, I got listen.
You're a voice actor, you got it, right?
Listen, but a wise man once told me, if you're good at something, never do it for free.
That's facts. Okay, I'll give you that one. I got that for you on that one.
Shout out to Joker. Shout out to Joker. Good mentor of mine. I love Dark Knight has all the lines that I use in real life. You know, that movie's like a second father to me. So many lines and advice I got from that movie, and that's one of them. If you're good at something, never do it for free. I'm like, you know what? I like it. And plus, I don't want to get clipped unless I get paid for it. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, you see the chat? They was like, "Set up, bro."
Set up. They try to set me up. Here's the lead setter. Yo, you get set up, dog. Don't do it. Don't come out with no squeaky voice, because that shit will be the only thing you see on Twitter. I'm gonna be like, oh, why did I do this shit? You know what I'm saying? Especially the side. You want to be a side, they'll repeat that and then it'll turn into like a porn flick or some shit.
I'll tell you what'll be a really good clip is if you did King of the Hill. Oh, they tear your ass up.
Damn it, Bobby.
Oh, damn it, Bobby.
You know what I'm saying? So, hey, shout out to you guys. You know what? I'm gonna audition for one, and then I'm gonna make it a surprise. I'm here in California. I just gotta sneak in.
Amen.
Just sneak in. You know, write a fake resume. Yeah, I did Game of Thrones. You know, just fake it. Just to put a whole list. All right. Anyway, we're out of here. This is your only friendly's YouTube Streets PorterRock77. We're out of here. Catch me on season 1 of The Dark Knight on HBO, starring me as Bruce Wayne.
Play your games. Right. Play your games. Enjoy your games.
That's it. Enjoy your games. SAK says your Discord's acting funny. I get all right. Oh yeah, you can't. I seen you keep getting bumped out. But anyway, we'll catch you next week. All right. But to everybody else, I hope you enjoyed the show. Catch you Tuesday next time. All right. Anyway, you only friend use the streets.
Like button.
Yes, hit the like button. We're out of here. All right. Peace.